guy gets injured and you're like, oh man, this guy, his backup never really plays at all, but now his backup's really valuable because he just got injured. They pick him up right there on the spot. I'm like,
that's how it first started with us. But then I was just realize how unfair it is.
I guess if I did.
But now I play with all these guys who just like do daily games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sort of came to realize that I could try and micromanage my portfolio like just a millionth degree.
It's still fun.
That's what where I was doing.
Put a lot of time and effort
That's
into
what I
it,
was
try and like
exclusively doing the
make sure that
50-50s, and I had like a 22.
Before I could doing that, and I
So 50-50 is basically like
crypto.
no. Let's say there's 1,000 people, and it costs $10 to get in. So 500 people will get like $9 to 60. $10 to get in, so they'll get like $19 back. So it's double up minus the rate.
Pretty well. I was playing a really wild.
Yeah, you just get the top half, and then most of them are really small ones, like $2 ones, like not the really good players are in there like this.
Playing all weekend, like 16K and 30 minutes.
And I got like I hit like a 22%. If I'm average, I should be right around 50%.
Yeah, it was 10, 20, 40, and then sometimes it was 80, sometimes it was 60 on like. I mean, I was putting 60 on a little bit.
You lost 16K.
Yeah, I mean, I spot him for 8K, 10, 20, 40, and I got stacked twice. That's a big cost.
Race races to 14. Was it 14? I think?
Dallas, I think we came in on a good one.
Yeah, that's a big raise. I mean, obviously, we can see that Andres has 9s full here. Wow.
Matt.
He's just going to let it go. Probably on a stone cold bluff there. Just quickly
fired
folds.
3 barrels. Andres waited to pull the trigger till the end. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to
Bellagio Pots, Bellagio Poker on the Strip. I'm your host, Dallas Scott. My co-host, Mr. John Harden. Tonight we're playing 5-5-10, no limit hold'em. We got some returning faces from last night. We got a couple. We have a mystery person, Mr. Dan P. We're still working on his information in the 2-seat. Of course, people will recognize Matt Affleck from his deep runs in the World Series of Poker. He played a very famous hand against Josh Duhamel.
The funny thing about it, I hadn't seen it in years and years. 3 times this week, someone else has shown it to me in some fashion. It's funny how that works.
Yeah, he got his aces cracked. They got it all in the turn, and Duhamel makes
his double gutter, right?
Double gutter, yep. Didn't take Matt out, but it crippled him severely, and it propelled Duhamel into the championship.
Yeah, I saw a calculation of his ICM equity in that pot. That pot was worth $2.7 million.
Live or real money?
Like the equity in the tournament that pot represented.
Wow. Think about that, because Matt has $2.6 million in tournament winnings. I mean, you're talking about double your lifetime tournament winnings. It's crazy.
Mike Delvecchio back from yesterday gets opened by Billy in the 3 here.
Mike's got his kings. Billy's got deuces.
Mikey puts the $210 3-bet in.
Mr. Macy coming along for the ride with the 7-6 of diamonds.
Close the action. Suited connector. Seems like a fair board for young Delvecchio to put a barrel in against 2 opponents out of position.
And they're both probably going to call here, right? Macy can't make his hand then fold, right? Maybe call with the 7-6.
I don't know if bottom pair is what you're looking to make with the 7-6 of diamonds. He is going to probably close the action here unless Billy finds the raise button on the flop here. So yeah, 2 of the 3 mics from yesterday have returned. We've got Michael Macy in the 4 and Delvecchio in the 9. They both happen to be playing this pot.
They both have established histories here on the stream. Looks like he calls the 280. Now Mike's getting out with bottom pair.
Straight out of the way.
I predict the 7 on the turn just because he would have won the pot. Oh, that's even better. What was the pre-flop action? The pre-flop was
It
210.
went Billy opens to 40. Mike Macy flats to Delvecchio in the second $5 blind, makes it 210. Call,
Should I tell
three-way
you when
flop.
I put the chips on, or does it matter?
You may need to tell her.
That's why I was asking. I added 2.
It's like 410, 420.
Or here more.
Just where the marks are.
I've been like doing it like in here.
Yeah, so just a little bit off to the right.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe about an inch.
Our producer, Miss
Yeah,
Leslie.
should I tell you when I added
Yeah.
200?
200?
Card reader placement coaching for the 4 seed. Billy's in a bit of a rough spot here. He knows he's probably going to have to call
two more
sizable bet here on the river.
But he's not wrong to call here. I mean, 10s could very well be the best hand a lot of times.
Yep.
I mean, Delvecchio could have, you know, made a continuation bet, then turned, you know, ace king of clubs into a club draw here. There's so much that could be going on here in this hand. But he's going to let it go.
At a 6,
good
man.
fold. Good fold.
Michael Macy
I know.
bemoans his luck by declaring
I was
had
talking
a
about
6.
all this like personals out of spite stuff, and I folded the pair. I didn't think I was gonna hit.
They do it once you get to the money.
Also returning from yesterday, seat number 6 is Andres.
He's the guy that's trying, his life goal is to tilt field helmet.
I believe you are correct there.
Should've told me, Nate.
Seat 7, Dan Sparger was on one of our Nini meetup games, and he brought along young Billy Harris in the 3 seat of just now pocket 10s fame.
And you'll notice in the 7 seat, Mr. Ryan LaPlante, big friend of the Bellagio. He's been on the streams before. He's done some commentary for us before.
Yeah, Ryan took the 8, just to nitpick a little bit.
Thank you. And Mr. Lump owes Ryan quite a few prop bets that he lost to him.
Oh, field size bets
Yes.
that he had from last December's tournament? That is absolutely
He owes him
correct.
some buffets, I believe.
Yeah. So folded to Dan in the cutoff here, and he decides to open the queen 10. Ryan on the button does put the 3 bet into $130 with the ace king off. Back to Dan.
Dan's going to let it go.
Flash an ace, pick up the money, on to the next.
Easy peasy.
Nate, are you feeling left for the whole night?
No, I think I have an hour and a half.
Okay.
Somebody else is coming.
I'm just going to give you 1 tip, right?
That's
Right here. Otherwise, I'll be constantly worrying about $1 chips.
Ryan LaPlante declaring he's just going to tip Nate now for all the hands he's going to win in the future.
I think he was actually saying
That's
the
what he said
opposite, that he was
last
going to wait till the end.
We were already live. Yeah.
They showed the first 20 minutes.
So you're just trying to trick us, right? Trying to ease us into it?
trying to get the camera.
I predict a raise here from Mr. Delvecchio. Of course, he got folded to him on the button. It doesn't matter what he had
we were
here.
going to think I had 2-3 the whole time, you know, instead of queens. That's
No, I got some shit on the stream for peeling.
I made a pretty small bet on both streets, so I don't mind your call.
So our
if you think
producers here pointed something out to us. Our
I made a pretty
2C
small
Daniel
bet, and I made a pretty small bet on the flop, so I don't mind.
has
Or something.
300,000 in live tournament cashes this year.
That's pretty impressive.
That's it's hard to do.
A Mike continuation bets his open end straight and wins the pot. 300,000 a year. He's got a WSOP cash. He won 2 WSOP circuit rings this year. Mr. Dan Perlman.
Not a bad year.
No.
Definitely not a bad start to a year.
You know, when you got to figure out what you're going to do for taxes, it's a good problem to have.
Absolutely.
It's fine.
It's good that they're all there.
I thought it was just going on the stream now. It's just a 30-minute delay or whatever.
Andres under the gun, deciding to open $30.
Dan
The
calls.
suited ace. Rather speculative open from the under the gun.
If you're going to play it, though, and under the gun, you should raise with it, right?
Yeah,
you're not going to
absolutely.
limp with it and then let somebody raise behind you. Represent something big, and he gets the walk. Gets through. Because nobody else had anything. It's one of those rare spots. Everybody's got 7-4, 9-3, Jack 3, Ace Deuce.
I've played quite a handful of spots where I'll open a hand like that and immediately think, what am I doing? And then, you know, obviously if that thought goes through your mind and then you get the walk, oh, fine.
Yeah, I think having 3 blinds increases the action incredibly, especially in an 8-handed game where almost half the table is in the blind. Dan's going to wake up under the gun with a pair of 8s. He's going to raise, looks like $40.
I'm like one per.
I'd say upstate.
Like 15
upstate New York.
Nobody's going to like win this one. That'd be great. It's $100, but I'll take it anyway I can.
Again, you're watching Bellagio Poker on the Strip. I'm your host, Del Scott, my co-host, John Harden. If you want to be on the stream, our next game is November 19th and 20th. It's going to be 25-50, no limit hold'em. We do have a couple seats left available for each night.
Trying to pronounce like the names of places in like New York and like.
Andreas is coming along with a Queen Deuce offsuit.
Finds a way to flop the best hand, whether or not he knows it.
It's his 3-outer. You think Dan should continuation bet that flop? Or you think it's a pretty wet flop?
Some percentage of the time. Obviously, you're opening up a exploitable series of plays if you see bet it 100% of the time. So check back's fine. If you're going to bet it, you know, 40% of the time, 60% of the time, flip a coin. See bet or no.
You look familiar. I'm not.
Still early in the action night. 5 diamond is what? Less than 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
My favorite time of the year. I know a lot of you guys like the WSOP time. We're just busy. I love tournaments.
There was
5
3
diamond
mics
is
last
my
night.
favorite time of the year.
We knocked one out. We whittled one away. We got rid of one. We knocked one out.
You'll notice on the right side of your screen, scrolling the events. We got 2 shot clock events. We have the tag team event this time. I'm trying to convince Mr. Lump to let us tag team this tournament, John.
Yeah.
We might do it again.
Billy looks like he's contemplating a 3-bet here on the button after Dan's open to $30, and he does pull the trigger with the King Jack of Spades.
Bomb pots or some rounds of straddles or
Michael Lifestuck Macy trying to kick the game up here.
Did you watch it?
You can't get unstuck unless you kick it up, right?
Yeah, like 1.5x.
We didn't hit anything. Except for the double set.
Yeah, just basically the 2 all in 3.
Yeah.
That's like pretty much it.
3 hours just isn't. You're either just gonna see some exciting stuff, or you're just not gonna see anything. It's just not that much poker.
Compelling statement.
Yeah.
You either are or you're not.
Already like half an hour. It's been way.
If the river was different.
Where are you from? Mexico. What part?
Live straddles on in this pot.
Yep. Mr. Delvecchio a straddle for the 20. Dan looking at the king, queen of clubs. This should be an easy raise pre-flop.
Raised to 60. 60.
We haven't heard anything about the 7 deuce game yet.
Someone fired one into the month pretty quickly, so I don't think it is on as of yet.
Oh, Dan's going to wake up with ace queen here.
Your English is so perfect. I just
Elects to just flat it. Might invite Mikey along with the ace-6 off.
He does. The guy who raised pre-flop has the worst hand here. Not anymore. I think if Dan knew that both of his opponents held an ace, he might check here.
Ryan, have you done much traveling for tournaments recently?
not much. I mean, I did Toronto for for September for.
And he wins the pot. Still in that filling out period of the night.
Destinations.
No, we were going to do Punta Cana for the 5K.
Guys, can I trouble you for some time?
$7. That's now.
Nice. Congrats. I actually heard about that through Karina.
Yeah.
Because Lincoln's been looking at us too, so I threw out a lot. Congratulations.
Another busy night at the Mirage.
My gamble for the time?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Got 20 games on a Monday night.
You know what that is? That's okay.
I have no clue.
Fair little spread.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, what it is.
Oh,
Okay,
so
no,
22
like,
games
They
on a
have
Monday
weird
night.
seats. Like, you
Well,
like they'll call
the
him.
5 is empty,
You're gonna
so
be
you're the
8,
9.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh, we're doing that way?
Correct.
It doesn't do 1
Well,
through 8.
if that's the case, then we skip the 5 and the 10. We roll it over to the next card.
1 through 8.
All right, then the 9
Okay,
and
we'll
up.
do 1 through 8.
I think somebody just won $4 in the slot machine, right?
I feel like they're talking about doing a time clock.
Yeah.
Whatever that is gonna pay.
Time
So,
flop.
like, if
Time flop.
Instead of paying times 7 each.
I don't know any place that does a time flop outside of Bellagio. Do you?
Pretty much anywhere that gets the bigger games.
It takes so much longer to make change.
I've seen the time pots, but never the time flop.
Yeah, no, it's become a common thing.
This hand.
Now, if the person whose number came up, the person who got paid, I'd be wealthy because I get about 70% of these. I have bought out before.
Did Matt fold the ace jack of clubs under the gun here?
Got a little distracted and didn't catch it. Very possible.
Wow, Dan S flops.
Now we're all supposed to point and laugh and make fun of them.
Yeah, it's always good when you have the card there.
Then it hurts that much more.
The 10 high won that. Nice.
Somehow got it to showdown.
They're gonna deal the bottom.
Right, but you gotta play, because if it hits...
3 seed is going to pay the time.
Oh, sure, and then you also...
If you don't play, then
I see your logic. I get where you're coming from.
then it's like you said, double bad. It's like, I would have won a big pot, and
I had to
something
pay
bad.
time. Yeah, it's better if your seat's like, an ace than a 2.
I know there was an ace on the flop, so it was the 1 seed. How do you feel about time pots and time flops?
If it's random, it's random. Play a long enough time frame, it all balances out. I don't care.
See, I don't. If I'm in a table that's playing slow, I opt out because I hate playing time and I'm getting to play 4 hands a half hour, and I'm paying time for everybody else.
Oh, okay, so it's not a
Yeah, but you're in theory paying the same amount of time over a long enough time frame, so it really doesn't matter. If it speeds up the game at all to do something other than everybody pays time individually, then I'm all for it. We've all seen a dealer sit down and not be 100% aware of how time is collected. They're awkward with it. It's just, you're wasting time. Right. Don't waste time. I'm a fan of it.
It's not enough block pots.
Have you guys ever played with a cup? So, in one of the private games back in South Florida, it's a casino, but it's a private game. They do the cup, and the cup moves every
Did he say they have a casino with them?
whose hand it is puts $25 in the cup.
Yeah, I'm talking about the button game in South Florida.
He said it's a private game.
The button game.
Yeah, they don't care.
Apparently.
Yeah, it's like a...
They do the same thing, except you put the money on the race.
Yeah, that could never happen in Vegas.
Button in your game, or does it if you're on the button, you're the only one who can win it?
Yep, that's exactly what they're talking
I'm
about.
trying to remember. I think it's under.
We had the button game playing 10-20-40 not too long ago.
I'm pretty sure we'll get it in the 25-50 game in 2 weeks.
Yeah. We usually just chip it up on top of the button.
This makes it a little easier for the dealer.
I think it'd be fun if you do it the same way, where the button is, the button adds to it every hand, except you do something like, I don't know, do something like a time flop, where whatever the first card is, it goes in front of that person. So like after the flop, but like there's a lot of pots where no one would be eligible. but it encourages you still to play a lot of hands because you can be just instantly getting a bigger free roll.
I can still hear you.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's completely random on the flop who gets the
If you never play the game, you're never going to win that.
So
Are you guys talking about the button game?
Does that just go, you're saying, for the next hand? That's where it
No,
goes?
That existing hand.
Like,
So
if we saw a flop right here,
like it would
just
be like
whatever this
10
is.
or
If it's a 1, 2, or 3, we're eligible. Otherwise, it
Who's
should
ever on the
go
button
to the next hand.
Okay.
on the button?
Yeah, cool.
I just thought of that right now. I thought of like having it on the button.
It has nothing to do with the actual
You're like
betting.
incentivizing the person
It's like under the button.
to play the most.
Right.
And then
Right.
if
I
they
mean, it
win the
becomes-
pot, they get the money.
That's why I
And if
think
they don't win the
playing
pot,
it in
it
any
moves over
different
to
way
the
that you
next
decide because it
So
changes
first
strategies.
Yeah.
I think it's better if it's a random.
Yeah, and then sometimes they'll be like, get $200 on the button, under the button. So now the button's like, got to play anything, trying to win.
I'm
and then the blinds are also like, they're about to be the button, so they got to fight for it because like they want that
Yeah,
money.
they got the people that like are really tight and just get.
Not only are they proposing the button game go on, but they're coaching the
guys
new
have any
guys to it at the optimal strategy.
You can't?
My idea.
Is that better?
For the button game.
I did not hear what you said.
So, same normal button game rules, where the button adds, or every hand it gets
Fold all the way
just being the button.
to the first $5 blind here. Dan's going to just complete with the offsuit ace-5.
The furthest left card.
Billy finds a fold.
Number that is.
Michael's going to check his option. Blind versus blind battle for the minimum coming up here.
It's definitely
Nothing
interesting.
doing.
I think it's kind of like
Everybody misses.
I have no problem playing it. It's just you're already incentivizing the person that has the most incentive.
Picks up a wheel draw, does Dan?
2 straight draws.
Oh, but yeah, Mike picks up a 6 high straight
adds
draw.
like extra dynamic to
No, I agree. But that's right. Like, the point of the game should be that like
Michael doesn't peel with the gutter on to the next
way,
turn.
like, you just get encouraged to.
I'm sure he peels the flop
I would
and
be definitely
turns.
into try it, that's for sure.
I don't know.
I'm trying this marks now. These games are getting better, but it's just like
Two-seat things very.
Getting more coaching lessons on where to put the cards so the reader can see them.
I just thought of that right now. Because I played it last night.
I personally don't mind that. Like, I play poker because I like really enjoy doing it. If I just want to fucking run, I'd be back to the Midwest or got to do whatever.
I play poker because I'm trapped.
Because I'm trapped.
Trapped like a rat.
Didn't take long for the first. Is that Rick from Pawn Stars question about
Dan S. Yeah, we had those questions
Dan
last
Sparker.
time. Yeah.
Apparently he's used to that.
I like turtles too.
It's like Dan's raising here on the button with 7 or Jack 10. Oh, and Billy's going to wake up with a hand here.
I hate it.
He's got to re-raise right to isolate, or is he going to let Mr. Macy come in?
It certainly has more correlation.
Most common play here is going to be the 3-bet. That is the route he takes. Michael right behind him fires the pocket trays into the muck.
Andres folds a 9-8.
Yeah, they wanted me to come in and do
110 more.
110 in position.
No. Don't do that.
Is he thinking about calling, or is it just showtime?
None of the options are super out of line there.
I don't mind seeing a flop there.
No, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a 4-bet there, you know, with some small frequency. But a low variance route, fire it into the muck. Another hand will be dealt after this one.
Talk about, I can point out that Mike's doing these things. You're like, oh guys, look at this. He's doing something.
For what reason?
Punt.
For what reason?
$2.7 million tournament equity for that ace.
I mean, that's.
Mixing it up.
I mean, there was what,
insane.
15 people left, something
Yeah.
like that. I'm sure.
He went out 15th. I feel like there were a few more people at that time, but yeah, like
handed, like you didn't even know that necessarily.
I'm sure he's heard enough autopsy of that pot for a lifetime.
I think that hand and probably the Joseph Chong hand, where Joseph had the aces and got it in against the guy who had on a 5-5-6 board. Candido had 7-6. They get it all in
all the same.
on the flop, and the calls runner straight.
Yeah.
Those are probably the most 2 talked about aces cracked hands in the history of the WSOP, right?
You found out you were wrong.
Like there was a 9.
I've made wrong reads before too.
There's also the one
You
where
just gotta let it go. You know, you gotta.
the young lady got her money in good with the 2 aces, and then the dealer slid her hand into the muck.
Oh. Okay.
That's a talked about aces kind of.
Yeah, but here's the deal with that hand. Like, so there's more to that story. So the floor person's a really good friend of mine. I believe you know him too.
Who was it, Dennis?
No, it was Fraser.
Oh, okay.
And Fraser said that the woman was adamant that these 2 cards were her cards, and she had 2 aces.
Okay.
So he said when he looked at the 2 cards,
was not 2 aces.
It was a king 9 of hearts.
All right.
So he had no choice but to not. Her hand is no longer retrievable.
Yeah.
So, but the 2 cards that she says were hers was the king 9 of hearts and not aces.
We got a flop here. Billy opened and is going to have the initiative, putting a C-bet in here, flopping the backdoor straight flush draw in the gutter. Michael Macy.
That's why he folded 3s the last time, because he knew he was going to flop a set this time.
He only had a set 1 out of 3 times.
Then he calls and then
Billy chooses to check here. I can only imagine he's going to peel any reasonably sized bet drawn to the nuts.
Maybe even a check raise here. I mean, wouldn't be out of line.
hour and a half of it. 2 hours.
The bet is 70?
70 into 100.
Billy's just going to flat.
Now, how is Michael Macy's run bad going to continue here?
Yeah, it's a great card.
He's got this one locked up somehow. Does he find a knuckle to allow Billy to steam off some money on this river is the question.
Problem is, with that board,
Tried to make it as interesting as I could.
and the fact that Billy was the pre-flop raiser, he check calls the flop. It wouldn't. Billy
Nothing you can do.
Yeah. I think Billy's other option was to maybe raise there and try and represent a hand like king, queen, or kings or queens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There probably was a little bit of merit if Michael knew exactly what Billy's holdings were there. He checks back the turn and gives him the opportunity to get another street of value out of the bluff from Billy. Instead, hope you're up against a big hand, try and win a big pot.
You should have seen the It's beautiful. Like, you know what, form about yourself.
Yeah, they were talking about it.
It was so good. They didn't even scratch the surface. My About Me was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
That's the first one in the pot. He's going to raise Mr. Mason to 7-5 of spades. It's one of my favorite hands to raise and 3-bet with.
You are a winner.
Discipline laydown from the blinds there.
Yes.
Just for you.
Just for pride.
That was the worst hand I played
You're
last
watching
night.
Bellagio Poker on the Strip. I'm your host, Dallas Scott, my co-host, Mr. John Hart. Watching a 5-5-10 no-limit hold'em game with some familiar faces. I'm sure most of you recognize Matt Affleck from his deep runs in the World Series of Poker. Ryan LaPlante.
I didn't have the heart.
Think about this. Last year, Ryan was second.
Too hard. I was like, I need this.
In 2016.
Yeah, well,
for the all-time record of 12 cashes.
Most cashes in a single series.
Yeah.
I bluffed you with the 3-4.
4 people beat that number this year.
That's unbelievable.
Well, that's what I'm
losing so much money.
Yeah, but I took care of that so well the first 2 times that, like, you know, I need to.
You want at least like a $300 win.
Yeah, exactly. Just so that I can feel like I have a chance. No, right, a small win just to see, like, oh yeah, he can still play. Yeah, exactly.
You gotta find that.
Everyone's allowed to win in this game once in a while. It's supposed to happen.
Citation needed, Michael.
Oh, Mr. Mason's got some beverages going tonight. That hasn't really worked very well before him on the strip before.
OG Budweiser?
Yeah, I never thought of him as an OG Budweiser.
I think he was drinking like Goose Island yesterday.
Yeah. I saw some people today drinking Coors in a can. I didn't even know Coors was still around.
Oh, yeah. Coors Original?
Yeah.
The banquet beer?
It's a banquet beer.
You remember those?
Yes.
Oh. Andres opened the straddled pot to $70 here at the mystery hand, and Dan in the cutoff right behind him putting in the 3-bet with 2 red aces. Ryan disciplined snap full to the pocket sevens to the $230 3-bet. Back to Andres. No joy.
He does not want to keep on in his hand.
Man, I never noticed the tattoo on Dan Sparger's left forearm. It's the flag of the city of Chicago, which a lot of people will agree with me on this. It's the single best looking city flag.
It's the only city flag that I know of.
Is Chicago?
Yeah,
because it's the only good one.
Right. Like I've never seen like I know some state flags like California, Nevada. You know. Yeah. I love the Nevada Battleborn. I just like the slogan.
The simpler the flag, the better. If you ask a vexillologist.
I actually have another friend from Chicago who has that tattoo, but a little higher on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Like your 365, especially like the really big third cards, like that'll get so many runners.
Dan decides not to. A lot of raggedy aces in each of these hands.
Yeah.
And they ran at the Rio.
Dan, Billy's going to defend. Mikey's open. Heads up to a flop. We got a gutter against ace high.
It'll be really good here.
Checks back, takes the free card.
Interesting choice to flop a draw to the nuts and second nuts and knuckle here. Mikey can't let it check twice. Probably going to win it.
What's Billy going to put him on, though? He checked the flop there. Like, he might think ace high is good here. Doesn't care if it is.
He had aces. I saw it, and then the guy had jacks and I made a set. Yeah, that's pretty absurd.
Talking about Duncan's absentee fold of pocket aces to save him about a full buy-in.
We're assuming it saved him that much because we only got to see the flop because Mr. Beasley bet the flop, and it was folded. I mean, it could have been a really crazy pot where he catches the ace on the turn.
Hey Dan, do you want a hand? Too much money in the pot.
Do I need to hit it?
Yeah.
We got a miss still here, right?
I mean,
no, he's taking a small blind one too.
He either has jacks or like ace king, ace queen, and it's like you're getting such a good price. Like, can't fold.
Raised to 40.
Once that idiot 4-bets. Can't fold.
Yeah, Mr. Delvecchio's talking about his hand last night where he was for surely 4-betting the worst hand. Then we got a 5-bet shove behind by Mr. Ron Corey, and then pocket 10s calls. They run the board twice. 10s wins both hands. Flops the set, turns the set, flops the set.
It didn't work. It happened.
Michael's
He just flat called with the two black jacks, and now is checked, and Dan is barreled off the flop. Gonna just check call.
It was thin.
It was an interesting combo. I was like, oh, that's
Cautious way of playing the pocket jacks on the 10-high board.
Ambitious. That's a standard word for plays that probably not good, but you do anyway.
Dan declines to fire another barrel at it, which is probably going to allow Michael to
take a stab at it
lead.
Here.
4-card straight board.
So let's hear this excess story. No.
It's like
180.
No, 180. Oh, and he takes it down?
He's up against king high.
Oh, I misread the
hands backwards.
Yeah, I had the hands backwards.
That's what I was saying. Michael just flat called the two jacks and then check called flop, check turn, and then finally puts his first bet in on a 10-high board on a river.
I had the hands backwards. Who had what?
Just the times I bought it. The time I bought it.
So that was a really weird fold by Dan there if he had the jacks.
Of course.
In England, I remember. We're sad.
King 9 good enough. King 7, however, is not for Dan this time around.
Ryan's raising here.
+1 is going to open the king jack off suit. Suited ace immediately behind it by Mikey.
Call?
It's just a flat.
Queen deuce elects not to play. Queen tray. 8 deuce.
Andres with the king 6, going to let it go. We're head up to a flop.
Oh.
Not a club to be seen. Aces and 7s for Mikey against Ryan's king high. No C-bet coming.
Now, we had this happen last night. Remember where John flopped the set and he essentially checked himself into losing the hand to a bluff?
Yep, it was just it was one pair.
Right.
That fired on the 4 flush board.
Yeah. I like the bet there when you flop a hand like that from Mikey. You're not gonna, if your opponent does have a club, why are you giving him a free draw to the club? Make him pay for it.
The run out is much more likely to hurt rather than help you out.
Right.
Very few favorable turns and rivers.
I was pretty close to the board, I was thinking.
I'm sure that was close to the board. Delvecchio was thinking, I'm going to call this hand and flop 2 pair. Or the nut flush. 2 pairs. Oh, Mikey's picking up hands tonight.
Trying to win 2 in a row here. 2 black queens.
Not getting at the, oh, 9s. Andres is calling here with the 9s right on the line.
Possible 3-bet.
Yep.
Just call and head up to a flop.
I like the call out of position.
That's fine. Queen in the door, and Andres averts disaster by not making a set as well. Now Mikey's probably going to C-bet the middle set here. No set, no bet, just gets out of the way. Darn.
That was a strong hand. A very strong hand. Hoping that you had an ace.
Poor thing.
Delvecchio pretty much turns his hand face up there by saying I was strong and I hope you had an ace.
You're down to 1 out of 4 now, is that what it is?
Down to 1 out of 4 on sets.
Yeah, we're back to our normal, hey, let's play pairs of Bellagio pots and flop sets.
I fold.
If I were to play Northern Cash more than like 20 hours a week, I would be actually insane.
Dan, this should be a raise, right? He's first into the pot, king jack offsuit.
Especially like when you live tournaments, like even these like 360.
Billy right behind him
with ace king.
This is going to be what, the 3rd time that Billy's had the opportunity to ISO 3 Dan?
Yeah.
Andres
doesn't feel like being Doyle Brunson.
Ryan, let's go with a ragged ace. Dan, discipline laydown to the 3-bet. Not a whole lot of people getting out of line so far here early on the stream.
Dan's out of position there with the king jack. I think if he has position, the hand might play a little bit differently. Like if he was the button raise and the blind, 3-bet him. I mean, luckily, I mean, it did get.
He had the 2nd best hand and astutely weighed it down.
Best hand I've had. Best hand I've had.
Fold all the way to Dan here in the first $5 blind. Looks like he's just going to complete 9 high. Ryan calls. Matt knuckles his option 3 ways. Blind versus blind versus blind.
Open ender versus a pair of 6s.
6s and a gutter, right?
Also a gutter.
Yeah.
I was thinking he had 7, 8. Oh, how a little card just changed the action.
Pair versus pair and an open-ended and a gutter.
Dan's probably calling here. He's got the open end straight draw to go with his pair of 6s, which may be good here anyway.
Dan's got top pair. Matt finds a way to make a number number 2 here.
They do work.
Sean Mack in the chat. How you doing, sir?
All Dan has is a bluff catcher here. He's probably folding, right? Yeah.
This summer,
Yes, that is Matt Affleck in the 1 seat, taking down pots.
I believe Matt's going to be back in 2 weeks' time for a 25-50.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's committed to playing both nights, but we will have, again, same kind of structure, game on Sunday, game on Monday. And he's in for at least one of those.
We have some familiar faces like Elliot Les running that game, Eric Warry's played on the strip, Ron Corey's played on the strip, a couple of Bellagio. Is Alan Richardson, he's committed to one of those days?
You'd have to tell me, I'm not 100%. We shall see. Dan deciding to flat second in here. Andres is open with the king 4 of diamonds. Now third into this pot's going to be Ryan with 2 red 10s. Also elects to just call. Mikey gets out of the way with the queen 10 off, getting a that makes more sense. That is a 3-bet from Ryan with the 2 red 10s.
I couldn't tell if there was a black chip under there or not.
Andres calls pretty quickly, and we're going to be heads up.
Are all the kings gone? I saw 2, right, for sure. That's a good flop.
That is an unbelievable flop. We've got open-ended in the king-high club draw against middle set.
Wow. There might be some action in this hand.
180 is pretty much half size, half pot.
There's so many ways that Andres could play this hand right here.
He has a ton of equity to give him the green light to just raise this one, try and pick it up here.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of hard to be a Bears fan for a while.
Yeah, you know, so I mean, like, I'm kind of losing for a while.
There you go.
A little pump fake there. I don't know what that was about.
He never cut out any chips. Looks like just a call.
Very frustrating to watch. Yeah, I know. Even when they're good, yeah, they find a way to mess it up.
Oh,
But
great card from
chance.
Mr. Ryan.
Yeah, they're always kind of in it. Yeah. Kind of just like fall apart.
No, I like them tonight. I was just like, all right.
Win for them.
Yeah.
This is the how much money can I bet to make him call, right? 310. A little less than half a pot.
Again,
Trust me, if I made a bet on it, they have a very good chance to still lose at this point.
Again, that's what we talked about.
Andres just has so much in this hand. Like, I mean, so many. Unfortunately, he's drawing dead. He just doesn't know it yet. This would be an amazing laydown if he lays this
It's
down.
really too bad. This season's really the bummer.
But I don't think he's thinking about laying it down. I think he might be thinking about raising here.
This call
Just
again.
flats.
It's going to be $1,300 going into this river, and it is a fortunate blank for Andres.
That's really the
Now, does Ryan find a way to knuckle here,
definitely like that in
give
all
Andres
sports,
the
like
opportunity to put a bluff in? With some percentage of the time, I can imagine that Ryan's going to check all of his range.
Right.
The ratings are already
And
great.
little does he know, this is a prime candidate for it.
Plus some of the interest and all the extra curricular stuff, whatever you want to call it, you know, the handle protests and all that. That's
Alas, that is a way to get no more action out of King High.
Right down 20% before the interest.
440 into
Yeah, I mean,
1,300 is an infuriatingly small bet.
I'm sure it'll take time, but I wouldn't be surprised.
It almost screams, call me, I dare you.
Football is the first sport to actually go. With all the concussion and stuff coming out. Like,
That was
it's gonna be hard to actually get rid of that.
A very fortunate river from Mr. Andres.
Yes.
There are a lot of cards he could have gotten into a lot of trouble there with.
You might see.
I mean, think about it. Even if a king or queen comes off, he might end up paying off the hand. For surely, if a club or the ace or 9 comes, he's paying off the hand.
If he makes top pair with a red card there on the end,
Yeah.
it's going to be hard not to call 440 into 1,300. I mean, you just don't have to be right that often.
Takes a lot.
It's a good game this weekend. Hurricanes and Notre Dame going against.
My team was undefeated, dropped 2 spots in the EP.
That's awesome.
That's the thing that frustrates me about college.
Like I said, it's better winning foot.
I
The
want
whole like strength of schedule.
Yeah. I just want some sort of playoff system. I want to watch it. It's the way we want to see it. I don't know.
It was 45-17 this past week. They go undefeated and they dropped 2 spots in the EP. It doesn't really matter.
Matt just going to pick up the blinds here. Fold it all the way to Delvecchio and complete raise, fold, fold. Little snoozer.
The best team they played is probably ranked like 45th or 50th in the nation.
True. You know, I mean, listen, I get it, right? But I mean, drop 2 spots in the EP, at least keep us at the same spot. But we got a couple of good games. You know, we got Iowa this week, and then Michigan the week after.
Those are still. I mean, they're gonna get in. It doesn't. The ranking of if they go undefeated, they beat whoever in the.
I think we got some college football discussion going on here.
Michael Macy might be the coolest person like since the Fonz. He loves that black leather jacket. I mean,
He's got a red one too. He busts out every once in a while.
that's a little princess, right?
I was, you know, it always reminds me of is
The red boots from How I Met Your Mother.
no, in Fight Club, Brad Pitt wears this crimson red leather jacket.
He's kind of got the little Fonzie, you know, flip hairdo too. We should start calling Mr. Macy Fonz.
A lot of people knew like, they weren't as good as people people were saying they were. No, but the thing, it doesn't matter though because they're always going to be rated. They definitely had some like anecdotes too. So like I went on the University of Washington, and we have to have USC. Like we needed, if Arizona would have beat USC the other day, it would have been a disaster. Beating Arizona, it doesn't matter if Arizona gets up to like, you know, 10-2 and they're winning 12.
Gentlemen, this is gonna be a time clock.
You have to.
Race to 30. When you have one, you don't.
Andreas racing on the gun to 30 with ace 10.
A lot of people have one race it, but like the number of people that
You guys still loving Russell Wilson out there?
3-bet coming from Mr. Delvecchio.
Delvecchio's been awfully active so far.
He was very active last night with huge bets.
Yeah, he pointed out his own alteration and strategy of the oversized bets on any street in any
Mr. Macy
position.
wakes up with a hand.
At one point, he rebets a $30 open to 210. That is a 4-bet out of 2 red kings. Andres cannot get rid of his hand fast enough, and there's some merit to 3-betting the king jack because you easily get away from it when the 2 red kings show up and put the cold 4 in.
They have very Alabama plays at Mississippi State, Georgia plays at Auburn.
Anyway, yeah, Delvecchio just massive overbets.
Over-betting pots, you know, on the river.
Post-flop. He bet 500 and a 210 at one point with like second pair.
Mr. Macy caught him last night, but Mr. Delvecchio actually had a hand with kings. I think Mr. Macy thought that he was doing his normal shenanigans with a big, huge pre-flop raise. Decided to play him in position with ace-5.
Matt's going to come along in position to Mikey's open.
And one of his set cards is gone.
We're just going to pass then.
That's on his. He's got to pay the tips.
The only thing I've won in this game. Somebody's got to win, right? The only thing
Dan's coming along with the 6-4.
Speculative button call, 3rd in. Jack and a 6-bet here. Andres is going to make it a 4-way party here.
6-4, 3-flop.
King 10-6.
Oh, wow. Matt hits the K6.
Oh.
That's me.
Yeah.
So you're room for an ace?
That's a pretty wet board. Spades, all kinds of straight draws out there. He's got to make an attempt at the bet here.
I had to count there for a minute in my head. You were just keeping silent. You were just like, what?
Dan has no idea he's just drawing stone cold dead here. Mikey with a disciplined fold of jacks there.
Wow.
I don't know if I got that one.
Spade's going to slow down the pot.
Go big, see the right side out of your way.
Can I get a few? Some mud.
250.
That's all she wrote.
Dan P should be glad it wasn't the 4 spades on the turn.
Would have been an interesting turn card if Delvecchio found a peel, because I'm pretty sure he has the jack of spades in his hand.
Yeah, so he's calling. Yeah, second that flush draw, open-end straight draw there.
So is this tag team tournament coming up in our December series the one you're looking forward to the most?
I think so. I like the way that we have it set up, where you have to play a level. You have to play alternating levels with your partner.
Now, you must play a full level, and you must change every level?
Every level.
So it is.
If I play the first level, you must play the second level.
There is no flexibility to when the partner comes in, huh?
Nope.
Huh.
I guess we'd probably give him something like one hand, just because with everybody moving and in and out.
Yeah.
Somebody's in a hand.
Unless it was a break in between each level, it's. But I mean, the way the structure sheet's going to be written, it's you must play alternating levels. Okay. Ryan opened under the gun here with the ace jack and got a pretty favorable flop against queen jack of spades. Young Macy back to his normal ways of having the second best hand in spots where he can't fold it straight away. And
the card doesn't help him.
Both of them are going to think that's a good card for their hand.
That does not. I was going to say that's not a card that lets Macy fold.
How big a pot are you willing to play with top pair? When he has middle set in this spot, he elects to bet right at half the pot. This time he bets 130, 140 into about 195. Those more astute among us, possibly Michael Macy, will identify the difference in
well, he didn't have to show down the full house hand. He didn't have to show that hand down. So that's a 50-50 card there, right? Macy might think that card gets him a chop. Maybe the king scares him. The clubs come. There are a lot of folds he could find here.
Yeah, neither player likes that card too much. King of clubs loses Ryan a street of value there, I believe.
A lot of ways you beat there.
You might only be losing half the pot, but
it felt like
if you're Michael Macy with the queen jack,
right.
But it'd be an awkward spot to put a bet in after calling 2 streets.
You have to represent a hand like ace-7 of clubs or something like that.
Ace jack under the gun again.
We saw Matt Affleck fold ace jack of clubs under the gun earlier tonight. Mr. Macy decided, or Mr. Delvecchio decides to raise with it.
I didn't catch that under the gun fold by Matt.
Yeah, ace 10 of clubs. On the, it was 30 minutes ago, last time they did the time flop. Andres, this is the standard call here, king, queen out of the blind. Wow. 2 pair for Delvecchio. Andres got a pair in the gut shots. We should see some volume in this spot.
Still scary enough to probably shut us both down a little bit.
felt pretty good about it actually. I was when you check the river.
Yeah, that's the downside of that.
Hand that card doesn't really change anything. Oh, but it gives Mikey the
flush draw. Strong hands get stronger.
And like some of the houses down there are
if Andres decides to get creative and check raise here, I don't think that Delvecchio can get rid of his hand.
He's winning.
He's an ambassador for some of the hard rock. That just happens to be the closest.
Andres has a blocker for the diamonds too, which
during the
wants to get out of the way.
The series comes to town, the cash games are good, but otherwise,
credit given to a minimum of top pair in that spot. Better.
It's a big board for Delvecchio.
Better positions to be had for the king queen off.
I believe everybody bought in for 2,000 tonight. Is that correct?
I believe so.
You're watching Bellagio Pots, Bellagio Poker on the Strip. I'm your host, Dallas Scott. My co-host, Mr. John Harden. We're playing 5-5-10, no limit hold'em tonight. Against some familiar faces: Matt Affleck, Michael Macy, Mike Delvecchio, Ryan, LaPlante. I think between the four of those guys, they have like $2.5 million worth of tournament wins.
Oh, don't shortchange our our
Dan
young
P.
TC.
Yeah, Dan P's got 300,000 this year, and yeah.
Take some umbrage at that omission. That snub, if you will.
I think that might be of the guy. No, because Harry did. Matt Affleck win a bracelet this year. Did he get third in his event? Matt Affleck, did he get third in the bracelet event, or did he win the bracelet? You looked it up earlier.
Let's see. This year he won the WPT. Pardon me. He won the Windfall Classic.
That was just recently, right?
Yep. That was. Let's scroll up here. That was back in October. October 6th. He wins the Windfall Classic.
Less than a month ago.
Recent events this summer. He's got.
I had no idea it was so popular.
He final tabled the Colossus in June.
What was that? What place did he get in that?
8th place.
What did that pay? I'm just because that's such a huge tournament. Like with $1 million guaranteed for first, I'm curious what the rest of the places were.
He got $103,000 for his 8th place finish at the.
That's solid.
June 2nd.
That's a $1,500. Oh, that's the 565, right?
That's the 565. Yeah.
Multiple entries.
565. Let's say he's got a 3rd place in a $1,500 bracelet event in July of 2016 recently as well.
Okay.
190K. That's the one you were talking about, I think.
So that was over a year ago. Okay.
Yep. Recent big scores that Windfall Classic though. That's a good one. $1,500 buy-in, first place, $139,348 US dollars.
Back in the action, Michael Macy has a pair of fours. Dan's got top pair with the Jack 9 also. Mike decides not to
see that
pill us. Yeah, or pill. That's a board where fours could be good a lot of the time.
They could also lose a monster pot. Is that exclamation point Bruno in the chat? I can't imagine that's coincidental. The inside joke, for those of you that don't know, is we have a German Shepherd named Bruno that decided to wander Las Vegas for about the last 18 hours. He is now safely back at home and filthy, in need of a bath, and happy to be back. We're happy to have him.
You could only have a conversation with him about where he's been.
Yeah.
The things he's seen in the last 18 hours.
Pocket Kings night here on the Bellagio. Poker on the Strip.
Oh.
Now, Andres opened this one in the hijack. Matt flats, and Dan elects to three bet small, $120. Matt having $30 in this pot already is definitely coming in third in after Andres defends.
It's a light defense by Andre there.
Maybe it looks a little squeezy. I don't know.
It's a big flop for Andre there.
Andres flops about as big a hand as you can flop with the ace-deuce offsuit.
Fortunately, Dan does not have the king of hearts with a blocker.
He's got two opponents that can make a set when he makes the nuts on the turn. Wow, semantics, the 8 of hearts makes a straight flush possible. Small lead.
You can't ever fold here, right? You called that hand and you flopped almost gin.
$365 in the pot. He leads from 160 into two opponents. Matt check folds the 2 8s.
That's a very disciplined fold. Over pair to the board. He did not have a heart in his hand, and it's a 3-way pot. Bingo.
All she wrote. Not going to get a whole bunch more money out of Dan here.
I like a check back here.
A check back here would be a phenomenal play. But I'm sure part of our opinion that is simply that we have these hands face up and against two black kings of all hands.
I still think though, when I make the flush there, I would check back even if I didn't know what the cards were. I like to give my opponent another chance to fire a bet maybe on the river.
But I mean, if you're up against something like the ace-jack, ace-queen, ace-king with the king-queen, jack of hearts, you're missing a street of value potentially. Now, at this level, are you going to get an opponent to call 2 streets with the naked jack or queen of hearts? I don't know. And we'll never know.
This is a better hand than Andres opened with before. Of course.
Kenny T, we have it pinned to the top of our Twitter page. Unfortunately, for our current season, we've only got 1 weekend left for the Bellagio pot schedule. It's 25-50 no limit hold'em, November 19 and 20 in 2 weeks' time. After that, we've got our 5 diamond tournament coming up. But as soon as that's done, beginning of the year, we'll be putting out a new schedule.
I believe we're going to come back in February, I think Mr. Director said.
3-way flop here with not the strongest of holdings. However, Dan has managed to flop himself a straight flush draw.
Billy's got a gut shot.
And Andres has the best hand for about 2 more seconds.
Billy decides to get out of there with the gut shot.
5 high good enough? 7 high good enough?
7 high. I take the 7 high over ace tray offsuit on that flop anytime.
Roger that.
Well, there are parts.
Yeah, there are parts that are fine, but like,
you don't know if they're
5 diamond is coming up. Less than 3 weeks away. I cannot wait. Like it's truly my favorite 12 days of the year, 14 days of the year. Even though I have to work.
It feels like 2 months.
It does, because I have to work. I'll work 14 days straight, 12 hours a day, but I love it. I love tournaments.
Andres opening the king, queen of spades, and once again, a better hand's going to present itself immediately behind him. The 3-bet from Ryan, small this time to 110. Mikey looking at a play here with 9 high.
It's a bad spot, yeah. Queen 8. Getting out of the way, Mr. Affleck. Oh, damn, he's getting a decent price to go set mining here.
3-bet pot always makes it tricky, and he's only playing about 1,100 unless he's added on some chips that we're not aware of.
A raise here wouldn't have been on the line, though, either with the 7s.
Cold 4-bet. Rob Major basically.
Last night, I think we had like 7 pairs of 7s. Mike Macy folds the ace-jack there. I like that fold, though. Like, I'm not a big fan of ace-jack to begin with.
Yeah, 3-bet pot out of position.
nothing. They both have backdoor flush draws. Nothing really to help either one of them. Ace King still the best hand.
Another small bet from Ryan in this spot, betting a little less than half the pot. Here we need the spell check in the chat there. I think we've already seen the two very early 4 and 5 bet all-in pre pots that we saw at the very beginning of the stream yesterday. We've already seen more 3 bets on this stream than I think we did in the entirety of the stream yesterday.
And most of the 3 bets have gotten through tonight. There's been a couple defended. Matt's going to come with the raise with the 5s here. Mr. Macy's calling here with Queen 10, right? He's either calling or raising. No! Wow!
I'll keep playing for a little bit.
Andre's going to defend with the ace-jack.
I can suck it up.
Heads up for $30 we go. That is a fair flop. We've got top pair with the jack kicker
and a bottom set.
And when you see the hand that I was thinking about board betting, you'll probably this day.
I like betting the set here. I always like betting sets. Especially that board is so wet. Hearts, a million straight draws out there, wheel draws.
Open to 30 and he c-bet for 30.
Maybe.
Fair turn card.
I don't got to tell you everything right now.
How much can I get bet and called here?
I'm curious about the thought process of putting the c-bet in for $30. Now he's gonna
like a pot size bet.
200.
No, 120.
120. Okay. Because it looks like that's 2 black chips on top of each other.
Does Andres believe him?
It sounded like Nate said 220 there. It's a very, very interesting wrinkle. I think he did bet 220
It does look like he bet 220. He did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So he bets, makes a $30 c-bet, and then into a $130 pot, bets $220 on the turn. Andres smelled something fishy. And
he's made some pretty good laydowns
today.
He has. He's made some. I mean, he had a chance to get in a lot of trouble when he flopped the nut straight draw, second nut flush draw against LaPlante's set, and he really dodged a lot there by not playing the pot as big as some people might have.
Thank you. It's time for time, no?
We're doing time flop.
Yeah. Time flop, I like it.
All right, well, looks like we're switching dealers. Miss Chrissy's coming in.
You winning a lot? Or he's been winning?
Do you want to do a flop?
Again, you're watching Bellagio Poker on the Strip. I'm your host, Dallas Scott. My co-host, John Hart. Did the Knights win tonight? Did they come back? I know they came back and tied at 3-3. They lost.
You $100 if it comes to 8, you owe me $100.
In the shootout?
Shootout?
We have a 4th-string goalie right now.
We have yet to lose a game in overtime. Which is kind of crazy. We've had, what, 7 overtime games so far, I think? Out of 13 or so?
$50? For $50, I'm in.
It sounds like we're going to do the button game for $50.
Do you know what a bomb pot is?
50 can't be. A bomb pot for 50 maybe. A button game for 50 and a 2K buy-in is pretty massive.
I like it.
We're doing a bomb pot, but it's on whose buttons.
Oh, they're going to do a bomb pot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt opened the 2 black 9s here.
Is he getting 3-bet here?
Yes, he is.
Dan's been very active. I don't know if he's dragged the pot yet, but he's been very active.
So we just go to the flop.
Unfortunately, he's been 3-bet by hands that were much superior to his.
This has been a common theme so far tonight. Andre's finding a fold with the pocket trays there. A lot of hands where there might be the stack size present to go set mining, but in a 3-bet pot, it's much more difficult to do so.
Right.
Checking back first.
got a continuation bet here.
No, it's
yeah.
Check call is $75 after the $90 3 bet. And
Bingo.
That's a fair turn card.
Diamonds
For the notwithstanding.
That makes it feel like
We're back to having our sets on Bellagio pots. All you gotta do is play a pocket pair and you can make a set.
Unfortunately,
everybody does it.
He's up against ace high with no diamond in sight.
It's not gonna stop Dan though. Looks like he's gonna fire again. 180. About a little over 50% pot.
Really gets the system going. Yeah.
Matt's got a lot of options here. He flats, he can re-raise. He could fold, but I really don't see that coming.
I don't think he can fold here.
All in.
Just check, raise all in. Dan's stack size here has gotten down to the point where it's not like he's making a rip there for an effective 2,000. It's more like 900.
Oh, the
What's that?
3 blinds are in front of the button. Yowza.
56 total, 54 more.
Yeah, it's 5-5-10.
Touchdown.
All in front of the button.
Who was that? Abdullah?
That was for you. That was for you.
So 30 minutes ago, Detroit scored a touchdown.
Oh, no. That was for you.
Packers, but I don't care.
Was that an I like the Packers and I don't care?
We got a straddle. So it's 5-5-10-20 right now.
Young Delvecchio putting a straddle on here. Billy hasn't found a hand to play in a little while. Probably gonna.
All of his hands to play were 3 bets for Dan.
Where I was watching it, like on a little TV,
Raised the 70 there with the Queen 8 of Hearts.
Does Mikey find a defend with the natural 9 here? No.
I mean, it does beat an 8. Baccarat reference, guys.
No extra cards needed.
Jamie didn't go to game 6. Or was it 5?
No, I think it's a game 6.
Oh, I thought you were talking about this series.
No, yeah, the Cubs got this.
NLCS.
They did it in 5.
Same little face though.
Once again, we're going to $2 and $5 blind limit on 29. These are Dan F., Kevin, GG, Double A, Salvatore, Charlie, Will S., anyone else interested?
Should be a raise here, right? First in the pot with Queen Jack of Spades. This is standard. That's my phrase now, standard. What's Mr. Nemi's phrase? Favorable? I'm going to go with standard as my. I'm going to coin that or patent it or something.
Dan just found a 3 bet with the 9-7 of diamonds here.
I like it. But
you like standard, I say fine. So, you know, you say Michael's open to standard, I say Dan's 3 bet here is fine.
I like it. I like his 3 bet. Because now he can win this pot here with a continuation bet.
That's how you want to follow 9-9?
Show it.
Now you gotta get 1,200 in the middle before you show the bluff.
Fair enough.
Can't show the bluff for 300 in the 5-5-10 game. I like a boss. That's enough.
I was there for a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
All the way to the button here.
Even when the 7 deuce game isn't on, if it folds you on the button, you got to raise, right?
Sometimes.
Premium holdings here. King 10 offsuit, Jack 4 offsuit.
No
Gut shot for Mr. Matt Affleck.
And a Budweiser.
Where's my 10-year reunion?
Bet's going to win it. Too many hands he could have there in the big blind that Delvecchio's just not willing to play a hand with. Again, that is not Rick Harrison. That is Dan S. Apparently he gets that question a lot.
It's that well-manicured haircut.
Can I have a water?
No. Are you going to have a thing again?
So, we're probably not going to have it. I'm sure we can average. We're going to the hard level. So, here for basically,
Yeah. Yeah, that would be great.
Andres has raised a lot of pots pre-flop. He's had to lay some down because when he's been 3-bet, and he's made some really good folds after the flop today too. Hands that could have got him in trouble. He's stayed out of trouble quite a bit today. I actually don't know if has he dragged the pot?
Andres?
Yes.
Yeah, he won some early. He's winning 400 to 600.
Oh, looks like he's up 4. Wow, Matt's got. That's a raise to 120.
So Matt called third in this spot with the 2 5s, and then Dan right behind him in the $10 blind puts in the $120 3-bet with 3 opponents behind him. That's exceptionally small.
We already know that Dan likes stint 9-7. He decides no, he doesn't want to play.
Watch rounders with my mom. That's like a tradition now. Every Christmas we watch rounders.
That's such a sweet tradition. Delvecchio says his tradition with his mom is they watch rounders every Christmas.
Cute.
Yeah. Start itching.
I'm sure it gets a little awkward when the exchange of
the women are the rake.
No, I was thinking.
The first time,
are you guys cops?
Time, like, I just
no. Well, you want to twirl them? Probably gets a little goofy about that part of the movie.
And then you know, like, hey, Norton showed up.
Does your wife believe? Does your mom believe that
I'll watch, I guess.
Women are the rake
in
life?
I would have to explain to my mother what rake is.
What year is that?
I agree, Mason. I think if Matt was in position, he probably would have called with the 5. It's a really bad hand to play out of.
Yeah, I think the biggest concern there is the stack size of
Dan
in the 2.
He's playing less than 1,000.
Yeah,
you might get in a situation. Matt 3-bets out of line.
Guerrero's comment says that's funny. It's my tradition to watch rounders with Delvecchio's mom too.
Oh wow!
God bless the internet.
Internet never loses, does it?
Matt just chipping away here. Well-disciplined play so far from the 1 seat.
Yeah. I think Andres has played some very well-disciplined poker today, too.
No one really has gotten too terribly out of line so far. We haven't seen any of the big orchestrated 3-street bluffs.
I heard the second half is sort of
we haven't seen any of the 5-bet shoves, just a little bit too light.
Saw a lot of those last night.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Like old school gambling stories.
Oh, we got a mystery hand. I thought that was a 10-3. Dan folded.
I didn't know that he was like. I always thought he was just like a commentator who like did poker. I didn't realize that he was like a grinder for like decades.
Oh, Ryan had the ace-queen.
Bomb pot.
All right, bomb pot. For everybody who doesn't know, everybody puts in $50 pre-flop, and it closes the action.
Straight to the flop.
Straight to the flop.
Guy to the left of the button can be first act on the flop to check or bet.
Yep.
Mason, I hope you're right. I enjoy it thoroughly.
Our tournaments are going to be, once we get to 80 players, all of our 5 diamond tournaments will be 8-handed.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Main event included?
Main event included.
Nice.
Once we get to 80 players,
that's
all the events are
Don't
8-handed.
tell him, man. You can't let them.
And the Bellagio, we don't play
that
10-handed either. We always, all of our games are 9-handed.
I would have
All
calculated
of our
the
hold'em
power.
games are 9-handed.
I mean, I can't do 8 times 50 anyways.
Ryan's got a nice
Mike
hand.
Delvecchio has 2 aces here. He's going to be up against the open-ended of Matt Affleck. Aside from that, we got a pair of 4s and a whiffed ace-queen. That's about all I see.
Delvecchio's got to make some type of bet here. Yeah, he's going to bet 200, which is about a quarter pot.
Man, this is an interesting dynamic. I don't think I have.
You can't call a raise here, though, right? Because you have no idea what everybody else's range is.
It's the interesting dynamic of the bomb pot.
Right. That's a raise. Looks like 700. That's a really.
I agree, Barry. Aces against 7 random hands on the 10-9-4.
That's why I don't think he can call a raise here. There's just too many hands.
But
9-4, 10-4, 9-10, sets of 4s. Like there's so many hands that are in his range because he's got his range is wide open because it's a mystery hand.
Of the deck.
Yeah, there's so many hands here. Even if they get it in and run it twice, Matt's way ahead here, I think. I know it says 57-43, but I like Matt's hand better.
Just sentimental favorite, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Queen Jack of Hearts. I didn't even realize that. Yeah. It's a really tough spot for Mike. If the hand had been bet pre-flop, you know what I mean? Like it would. And here's the bigger question, right? If Mike does find a call here, what does he do with the board pairs on the turn?
Ask the question again.
If Mike finds a call here, and then the board pairs on the turn, normally you think aces up, aces and 4s might be a good hand. What does he do?
If you bluff me here, I'm going to look really stupid. Really stupid.
That fold the 2 aces.
Like 10-3 off, but that comment doesn't make me think you have 10-3 off.
Basically, does that mean that you
well played?
have like ace-10 or something like that?
I don't think anybody in any lineup is going to have that much experience.
Not that good.
With playing bomb pots
well, I'm gonna look
to really lose too much sleep over laying down an overpair.
Really?
No, I mean, you have no idea. It's 7 blind hands. I agree, Barry. Matt is a very good player. You very rarely see him make mistakes. But the same can be said for Delvecchio. I mean, and I'm sure these guys have played a lot of tournaments against each other in the past.
Yeah, if that's not a bomb pot and the Queen Jack of Hearts gets to a flop against the 2 aces, it might get awfully bloated pretty quickly.
It might.
I mean, if it just goes open in a flat or...
And Affleck had position on Delvecchio, so like even if Delvecchio...
It might have been an open and a 3-bet pre, you never know.
I mean, he might call in position with the Queen Jack of Hearts. I mean, there's the hand...
I don't feel that bad. Alright, I feel a lot bad if you
Dan found the open limp here on the 2-seed.
Fourth quarter, about 9
Basher has a good idea because ace-queen was under the gun. He probably would have raised, and Delvecchio would have 3-bet the hand more often than not. You're right. Which would have completely changed the dynamic of the Queen Jack.
Considering what I would do in my head with a lot of hands.
Gut shot now for Dan P. 9s are still ahead.
First limp pot of the night, I believe, that wasn't just blind hands.
Here we go. We're going to win this one.
Dan's calling with ace high in the gut shot. Misses.
That's where it started. I'm adding 100 to my spec.
No, I do think that Matt has a cold 4-bet in his arsenal. I just don't know if that would have been the place he played it.
Who had the ace queen? That's my question.
LaPlante.
Matt might have had the cold.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, the button. It would have been under the gun, so it was Andres.
The fact that
Andres had it.
Delvecchio is going to be the 3-better in that spot.
Yeah.
Queen Jack of Hearts once again for Matt. Treated him well last time. We'll see what happens this week. Couple choices open to Ryan here with the suited ace queen. Do you really want to blow one up out of position with ace queen specifically?
Can I defend king five?
Yes, yes I do.
These guys have a lot of history together. Matt and Ryan have played a lot of tournaments together. Good flop for Ryan, not a bad flop for Matt.
Gutter against the nut flush draw.
If I had king five right now,
It's like the best feeling when you 3-bet with like a trash hand. Just smash.
And Matt does have a backdoor flush draw. Depending on bet sizing here, you might want to pill like 170 into a pot of 310.
Exact same Queen Jack of Hearts.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Oh. Who was that? Who is that guy? He was 25.
25 is
Riddick.
Unfortunately, I don't think Matt has enough here to call, so the hand's going to be over 720.
That is
over bet of the pot.
Interesting. Shrug on to the next. Ryan's bet sizing has been one of two things. It's been less than half, or it's been more than 100%.
Never went against that card.
Can't hate it there. He's just trying to find a way to get a play for stacks.
Ryan, you know who Jack Sumner is from Jacksonville?
Oh no, I did you at the end.
Oh, no worries.
Heads up for
I know where your village is.
I'll remind you to work.
He heads up a group called Slum Donkey Poker.
Slum what?
Slum Donkey.
I haven't heard of it. What made you think of it?
Queen Jack of Hearts has been all over the place in this game
Sent me a text saying that he said, "Oh, I see Ryan LaPlante's on the table."
Andres opening the 9-8 off on his button. Dan, next seat.
Thank you.
Looks like he's going to find a flat call. That's got to be the hand.
Yeah, that's yeah. This is
He's
the
always
graphics
wearing
are
Georgia
wrong.
Tech gear.
That's smart.
Georgia
All right.
Tech.
Makes them pretty unique.
Three players.
Definitely wrong because there's ace of diamonds on the flop.
I'm trying to think of five. I've seen like 3 people.
Two checks.
I'm like,
I was in Jacksonville. That's not even that far from me. I don't think I saw anyone.
I'm with you on that.
Oh, yeah. There's Dallas Cowboy hat all the time.
Andres made a pair here, pair of 7.
All right, we're looking safe. It's looking safer. Am I allowed to say that yet?
Jinky Joe.
All right. Delvecchio barrels his turned
the problem with
straight flush draw.
That's a royal flush draw.
Yeah.
Don't cheapen the royal by calling it a straight flush.
Well, you know, if he had gotten there.
Yeah. Now I know I'm going to win, but I'm just mad I didn't bet more. So now I'm just pissed.
Oh, he's talking about the football game. I was about to say, that's how you put your foot in your mouth right there.
I mean, that's my biggest problem, too.
A friend of mine did me a favor one time.
He called the gambling hotline for you?
He was taking all my bets.
Dan open limps under the gun with the 210s.
He told me I placed like 102 bets that season between college and pro. He just
Mike
went around
Mason's that ace
he said my best guy will get about 60 out of 100. my worst guy will get about 40 out of 100. He said, you got 18 out of 102. He said, if you had done it the opposite way, you'd probably be like swimming with the fish right now. He said, but my guys, they want me to extend every courtesy possible to you and keep you going. But I'm going to tell you as a friend, don't ever place another bet again. Do yourself a favor.
Dan's probably calling here. Macy bets. Why shouldn't he? He's got 10s, 1 overcard on the board. I wouldn't mind a check raise here. And don't let the ace king get there.
Gives you his overall record is horrible. And then every pick this week, you pick like some team plus 7, they lost by 20. We'll see.
I like the way Dan's showing disinterest in this hand, though.
It's interesting. He's pretending to be much more interested
in
the conversation.
But look at the side glances he's giving Macy. Like, he's very aware of what's going on.
I heard 9-4. I think we're discussing a good hand.
Oh, nice card.
And the bomb pot?
Unfortunately, Dan can't get paid off here.
You have a payout.
Not you guys, him.
Me.
No way, I'm folding.
I already know he's in. I watched him pull trips on the live stream already.
Not correct. But I was kind of correct.
No, you weren't.
Right
that was farthest thing from correct.
No. Part of my tanking was deciding that if she does have aces, which I thought that she could, whether or not I was getting proper odds against the rest of the range. And I didn't think I was.
It's interesting that Matt Affleck just went back and watched the stream to see some hands from before.
6 combo of aces, enough combos where
I'm just glad to know we got a fan out there.
Ace king though too.
I didn't think she would have ace king.
I mean, if she has aces, she's just as likely to have ace king.
Not necessarily. I think she would be a different one. So that's like
Mason, that is exactly why you limp there with 10s, not to play a bloated pot.
She had a very, very, very live tell. When you said this might take a minute, she sat back and did not look comfortable at all.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember who we played that hand against.
I think he's talking about Danielle Anderson.
I didn't think she was bluffing either.
So if anything, that wouldn't
I wouldn't have folded though.
Go back and watch that.
Is on the Unibet open stream.
3-bet night for Delvecchio.
10 jack on king, or wait, no, I had 10-8 on king 10-10.
I like Dan mixing it up here. 9-7, 7-4. He does have position this time. Does he want to see it? It's 160 to call. Needs a very specific flop.
This is something common you see out a lot of these guys. When they're out of position in a pot, they're going to size their 3-bets a hair bigger. That ace-king might have only been 3-bet to 120, 110 if Mikey's in the cutoff on the button to Dan's left. But when he's in the small blind and the button's in the 8th seat, 160 discourages him having to play future streets out of position just a hair.
Do you nit roll people also?
Nit roll people.
And I snap them off with ace high like a
Again, you're watching Bellagio Plots, Bellagio Poker on the Strip. I'm your host, Dow Scott. My co-host, Mr. John Harden. Our 5-diamond World Poker Classic, World Poker Tour Classic is coming up. It's one of the biggest WPT events of the year. Last year, we tied a record for most entries in a 10K event, I believe.
10K WPT
event, right? And then, but we're the only one to ever give away $2 million first and second place prizes.
Huh.
2 players. Oh, this hand looks kind of familiar.
Now this is back-to-back hands, and as I was commenting on before, Mikey elects to make the 3-bet to 120 now that he has the button as compared to being out of position on Dan. Not going to be relevant either way since Dan's got a big enough hand to be compelled to continue here. This is a good candidate for the 4-bet, having been 3-bet by Mike about 100 times. But maybe since it was back-to-back hands, you get 3-bet by the same opponent when you open.
So they're just going to rip it in
some merit to just calling there.
I was going to say, Mike checks back here, right? Because Dan hasn't called his 3-bet at all, and now he's calling it. So he's going to send off some flags to Mike.
It was win 1100 Unibet open at the start of the month. It was on their feature table, partway through day 2, I want to say. Yeah, halfway through.
Where was it at?
at the win.
Now on the paired board here, do you hope you're up against ace queen?
There's like an hour. Like
I think he calls. I think you call here. I mean,
I just only remember that because
what is Mikey's range that he checks there, right? Jacks full, maybe aces or kings. But I mean, you're surely not putting him on an 8 with the 3-bet.
I busted because you made that fold.
Mikey might be able to get another street of value out of ace high here.
Well, it sucks for both of us.
$180. Yeah. Realizes ace king is ace high is no good.
Oh, so I won a couple years.
Thank you.
I won a couple years without.
That's one of those hands where, like,
I have good hands.
again, if you're calling
And then
the
a few
turn
years ago, I made my first bet.
and the board doesn't
Years,
dramatically
it was,
change
remember
on
when
the
Columbus
river,
did Wars, what, 3 games to 1 versus.
why are you calling not
Oklahoma
calling the
City
river,
Thunder?
but you're calling the turn? If you thought ace king was good there,
Oh, maybe you didn't think ace king was good, or you know, you're just calling to evaluate the next street. You know, there's a good possibility that you're going to get the showdown calling 1 bet there. You call,
And then
you
he
call a
checks
bet on the
behind you.
turn, and you check, and your opponent doesn't want to pull the trigger again.
and you do have a hand that has showdown value with ace king.
All the statistics say, I'm like, this is a good bet. I mean, I'm getting, 14% on the high number, 7% bet.
That's why I like the DFS but it's more my roommate really knew sports and I really know tournaments. So we were just like a really combo.
Another blind battle here.
Yes. Got him.
Fist pump with the 10-6.
How about another bomb pot, guys?
That's neither impressive.
Let's just put it on the schedule. Let's just have a night of like $20 pre-flop, 1K maximum buy-in, bomb pot poker all night.
There's a casino in town that had a 3-6 game that was the equivalent of bomb pots. There was no betting pre-flop.
Oh yeah, but there's no money in the pot going into the flop, was there?
No, I thought everybody had.
Was there an ante of some kind?
You had to call the
So everybody puts up $3 and you go straight to a flop?
Yeah.
Okay, that's better.
It lasted about a week.
The bad beat Jack just spending this morning. It was like quarter.
God forbid folks gamble in the casino. You know?
Mason, whenever they decide to bomb pot, it's.
I think they're doing it for the time.
Oh, is that what they're doing?
I think so.
Now what it's like to play for Jackie Jack. I don't have any.
Confirmed. They're doing it for the
time.
For the time collection.
It's a new $1,000 high actually.
Yeah, because they do have
Way better.
Michael 3-bet in the king 9 of clubs here.
Here's
That's a big
it's a good squeeze. I mean, it folds the mat in the cutoff, and he opens, and the button elects to just call.
You got a 6x 3-bet here.
The button doesn't rate to have that big a hand in this spot. Textbook squeeze. Well done.
I'm going home this week, or next week, yeah. Great call. Nice. Might have to take a drive.
The Seminole properties down in Florida.
Time hot, gentlemen?
Their bad beat money together for one mega bad beat before they got rid of it.
You know what I mean.
A few years back. And it was up to 600. It was up to just about like 592. And they were doing $1,000 high hands on Friday. My buddy asked me, hey, you want to meet up there, play for high hands, and try to get this jack.
Ryan wakes up with aces here.
Under the gun open with the pocket ones.
Which is bursting into sets.
I mean, the truth is, I've never liked them because they raise the rate, you know, and like, but Venetian's been doing it.
No action. Queen Jack of Hearts.
Deja vu.
Seems to be the hand of the night.
Aces against Queen Jack of Hearts.
But it just got hit, so it'll probably be less crazy.
We saw somebody fold a 4-5
My
here.
buddy and I met up there. They opened a brand new 2-5 game. Very first seat. I'm in the 1 seat. He's in the 7 seat, 9-handed.
Shows the pocket aces, wins the
And he's the and they dealt to the blind, to the blind.
Why didn't you get 9-handed?
I'm under the gun.
No, we've been
2-5. Going after the bad beat.
How much played for 5-10 with you last night?
No, this was in the Hollywood Hard Rock.
So that's why
I was like,
The very last bad beat they said they were getting rid of it was at the 5.
We're just doing 1 through 8.
before I came here, there was 2 5-10s.
Over here. It's over here.
Alright, 56, sorry.
I was just, is this a timer can?
You're covering up your head.
Did you say it's a timer can?
They just,
Yeah,
she told me specifically.
Yeah.
5.
Bomb pot in 2 hands.
So we meet up there, and I'm under the gun. Very
2
first
hands
hand.
away from a bomb pot?
No, high hand's $1,000, and there's no high hand on the board anyway. So I'm like, okay.
Well, I guess
I'm not gonna raise
basically depends on how you're doing. Queen Jack of Hearts won a nice spot for Matt Affleck with the bomb pot.
Confused about the question, are we going to do some Aria Cash games too? The Bellagio poker on the strip is not going to do Aria Cash games. You're going to have to speak to Aria about that, unfortunately.
It's check to me.
I'm sure Poker Boss wouldn't mind if we did, but no.
And my buddy bets $15.
I'm not picking up all this equipment and moving it to Aria.
I think to myself, there's only one thing.
Besides, Aria has a cash game on almost every night of the week now on poker.
The Poker Go thing. I don't know what their schedule is.
It's like
but
every night or every other night.
It's relatively frequent.
Oh God, please! I don't know which one he needs, but it doesn't matter. Anything 5 or lower spades, and we're splitting $592. 6 of spades, king of spades. He turns over 3 5 of spades. So I'm like, man, we came so close to splitting.
That is a bad beat jackpot, bad beat story going on.
Kind of sweat on it. It's so crazy. You're still so far away, but you're still so, it's like, for that much money. It's
Smiles, I have no idea how they're deciding when they're doing bomb pots or what they're doing.
They just did a time flop, and then they said in 2 hands we're going to do a bomb pot.
I had a similar
15K now.
They had it was like 100K for Royal Flush. I just had like I flopped the touch out of 7 Royal, and that was and then I ended up getting stacked too.
Under the gun open with the 5-4. Gonna get it done.
The board paired on the turn, and I was like, fuck. I actually knew it, but I, like, it was like, I would have recipients on the game.
It was a good effort.
I didn't get dealt 7 deuce.
Yeah, afford to do it.
Oh, I thought you were.
Have you ever had a bad beat jackpot?
No, the only promotional money I've ever gotten back was playing in the Beau Rivage poker room, and they were doing a promotional thing where if you make a full house or better in a hold'em game, they give you tickets. The tickets go into a drawing. For the drawing, they give away cash a couple times a day. It rolled over twice. They did a drawing for $800. I just lost a $3,100 pot in the Omaha game, and they call my name, and they give me tax paperwork and $800 cash. Thank you very much.
And I'm just going to fast forward to the turn.
Tell me you turned the 800 back into got your 3,100 back.
No, but I got winner for the trip eventually.
And he says, and he takes for a little while, and he says like this. He goes, ace high flush.
Andres opens his button, and Ryan elects to put the 3-bet in with the king 4 of diamonds. Andres coming along, and
that helps nobody. Andres has a top pair. Or the 3 flush board.
Ryan gonna put a C-bet in here. Andres going nowhere.
You know, everybody at the table was bet, but the other person was obviously because most of the table was the guy led straight flush, but he would have gotten 30%.
Ryan picks up some equity.
I got to open end straight.
And then a few days after my story, 2 ladies got off of a cruise in Tampa, went to the Tampa Hard Rock. They had like 3 hours to kill. They're playing 1-2 women hold'em, and they hit it for 640.
The last time I hit a high hand, I actually didn't know that I was in a high hand where the room paid, so I just mucked. So I was embarrassed too, like I raised with quads, got a guy to fold aces, and I was just so pissed, and I mucked. And I turned my girlfriend to my side, I'm like, there's fucking quads. It's so dumb. She's like, here's $400. What the hell are you doing? I was so tilted.
I'm not a big fan of jackpots. I think it just changes the game too much.
Yeah. I'd just rather have the extra $1 or $2 in every pot. That's just me personally. It's the way of the world. There's just not that many rooms that don't drop a jackpot.
I mean, I've hit a bad beat jackpot. I had the winning hand. I've been in got a table share of one once. And there used to be a casino company around town that they used to have it linked to all their casinos, and I got like a share once from there, but never.
No, 2 bad beats, and the same lady was at the table both times. Told her I can't deal with
Is Ryan just saving face here, or is he thinking about making a hero call here with King High?
He's saving face.
Just a bystander.
She's one of those sweet little old ladies who's adorable.
Yeah.
When her husband goes to sleep, she would come and play. She had to be 90.
My
girlfriend has been at the Venetian. We don't play there hardly ever, but both times that the bad beat jackpot hit, right next to her, right the table right next to her.
It's always a lot of fun.
I was at a similar property one time. The bad beat was at maybe 180, and I went on. They called 3 people. I went up, and had 3 cards. They said pick a card, and I didn't realize I was in for a 3-card money for 124,000 because I picked a card. The guy behind me picked that card, and the card that he picked after me, he literally sat down back to back against me. In the very first hand, he got the big end of the for 72,000. I'm like, wow, so that was a $72,000.
I guess they decided not to do this bomb pot here. Standard small pair on the button raise. Mike is not calling with the. Guerrero, I've had one royal in a live game, and that was this year on my birthday. I got $350, I think, for it.
First royal I ever hit. Was playing a house game in Atlanta, 50 cent a dollar, no limit. It's the literal first hand of the day.
Wow.
4 or 5 bet all in pot. I've got the ace, king of spades. I'm up against pocket aces.
That's good. That's good. I don't know if you
flop a flush draw, turn a flush, river royal.
I'd like to see Mr. Macy raise with his hand, or he's the blind.
Man, he's really bad at poker, but he looks good on camera.
Andres, yeah, he's been active pre-flop. He's not really caught anything to go with any of his hands.
You look like Mark Zuckerberg.
He finally won one there with the ace-10.
That's not the first time you heard that, I'm sure.
Delvecchio giving Mark Zuckerberg
It is not
hate.
the first time.
So we got the Pawn Stars, Rick from Pawn Stars, and we've got Mark Zuckerberg.
I can see it.
It needs a little curlier hair, right?
Top pair with the king against the top 2. Andres, the pre-flop opener, puts the C bet in
If you ever
here.
get in a big pot, you need to call your buddy who's an expert on big pots.
Is Michael going to elect to put the check raise in here?
It's a great, I mean, we can see the cards. We know it's a great spot for him to do it.
So they said, I don't know if he's won it.
Andres has just been up against it a few times tonight. Yeah.
So that's great. That's what you always want to hear about yourself.
There always seems to be that one guy in every one of our streams, and he's profiting right now. So I mean, it's going to slow the action, right?
That's a great card.
It's going to give Andres
his mind.
And it's going to give him some more outs.
I was there, so I was getting somebody fix my connection for me.
Takes the free card. Boom.
Are you now coaching or about to coach part of Chip Leader Coaching? Are you now coaching at Chip Leader Coaching?
Yeah.
I heard it. Awesome. When did you start?
I officially signed up for them 3 days ago. So I don't have like coaching yet.
Bad run out for Mr. Macy.
And you're going to have a team of like 10
But he's kind of used to it on the stream.
I don't think that many. Probably like getting past that, it's just like the group sessions get a bit chaotic. And also that's a lot of
Michael found a way to
I already do
get all the streets out there relatively cheap by check raising that flop.
outside that like while I have time to fit in a couple times.
Even if he bets the turn there, he's losing the pot. He saved himself some money because Andres turns the second nut flush draw. Still got top pair. gotta believe he's got a million outs there.
Yeah.
How does their system work? I've seen it, but I have no idea.
They do revenue share.
Just coaching, and they get percentages. The coaching and backing then they
don't really back. They'll buy pieces of, and they get first call on any action sold. And
Yeah,
they get
pre-negotiated rates.
Like pre-negotiated rates and stuff, and then they get percentage of how much the people cash for.
Yeah. Generally,
and coaches get a share of it.
Two of my best friends are on Chance's team, and they both told me that
Ryan's opened the cutoff here, been defended by Matt.
The most valuable component is actually the group chat, where they're constantly throwing hands up there and getting feedback from everybody.
Not really that surprising.
I think it looks like Ryan's got ace 10, yeah.
Group sessions are great, but that fills in the gaps really well.
Oh, Matt's got a big hand here.
Are they in the same group, or does Nick have Petrangelo?
Nick Petrangelo?
Yeah, he coaches.
Separate groups. Like I know Chad.
Check raise.
He's in
Large.
Petrangelo's group. I don't know all of them.
Because if you could get coaching from like Chance is like one of the best like intuitive and feel style players, and Nick is like America's best EQ pop. Nick is such a good example. And like they get coaching from both of them.
Mason in the chat asking about the card removal concepts that are getting very, very prominent.
I am a believer in blockers.
I'm sliding into that camp.
No. So because Ryan Lang's going to have a group also, right?
Ryan LaPlante, last time we had him in the booth, and he was talking about the death of the leveling war and the introduction of the card removal concepts taking over poker.
I'm definitely looking forward to looking. I mean, I really like that.
Pocket 8s are the new Pocket 7s.
I think Doug Polk probably does the best explanations of hands of all the vloggers, and I really, I think he even puts it out in layman's terms so everybody can understand it.
It's almost like it's just one step above layman's terms. Like if you're relatively entry level, you have an ability to keep up with them. Yet the content that he follows is advanced enough that guys at a lot of different levels of skill can derive some appreciation from. Dan here decides not to see that, picks up straight draw turn, checks again.
And I heard they started another one. They were going to start a 2K rebuy.
Can't bet anything here that Dan's not going to call, right?
Like,
He's got to think 8's
I'm like, yeah, I think they went to play another sit and go over there. Like, what sit and go are they playing? I'm like, a 2K rebuy. She goes, oh, no, not another rebuy.
That's wrong.
delayed C-bet.
He's like, those rebuys.
Or no, Dan Sparger was the pre-flop open. Dan P in the blinds there just checks twice and can't check a third. Queen high.
When they talk about, let's say for example Antonio Esfandiari when they talk about people who are like, who should be more fun to play with and all that, and people that some people they tank too much and they're too serious and it's not good for the amateurs, it ruins the game. Like Chance is like one of the perfect ambassadors. Like he's just so fun in the game. He's always smiling, and even when he loses, he's really good about it.
We have 2 shot clock events coming up in our 5 diamond, and then there's this debate on whether it's good for amateur players or not good for amateur players.
The shot clock?
Yeah. Some people think it puts too much pressure on amateur players to act quickly, but I think most amateur players generally act a lot faster than pros do anything. I think it's probably much more intimidating for them to have somebody staring you down for 3 minutes.
Fair. This is going to be a tough one for Andres, especially with Ryan disguising his hand by checking back.
Hearts might save him.
Oh, geez.
Ryan's got a bet here, though, right? He does have the 10 of hearts in his hand. The blocker.
Poker term of 2017.
Maybe a good card for Andres because Ryan might check here, and Andres has some.
Very, very cautious play of pocket tens there, checking 2 streets, flop and river. Not hoping to get any value out of a hand exactly like Andres has with a pair of 8s, pair of 9s, pair of 6s maybe.
So did you know that if you're geo-located in the state of Nevada, you can bet on the play MGM for all your sporting events?
I did know that.
You could like just sit at the poker table, not have to get up and walk to the sports book, and just make your bets.
No hauling yourself to the window and dealing with the live breathing human anymore.
Gotta know what he had.
Is that Guns N' Roses coming back?
Yeah.
I do a lot of it.
In like 10 days' time.
I'm off on Fridays. I might have to go check that out.
I do like start a 5 hour.
I mean,
where
I assume I'm the best hand at this point.
Now, Guns N' Roses is one of the bands that gets a lot of criticism for being late to their own shows a lot. I was talking to a guy in the room that went one of the last times. It was one of the first concerts they had at the T-Mobile Arena. Said they didn't even go on until like midnight.
We got a hand. Is it Axel and Slash, or is it just Axel?
I have no idea.
Dan, all right, Ryan's raised to 40 with ace king. Dan's 3-bet to 120 with jacks.
Small 3-bet.
For number 5. It's like a 4-bet coming? No.
Have we seen a 4-bet yet?
What? I said,
one.
I asked a few people, I just want to know what your
great flop for jacks.
But nobody watches the stream, so like, I don't.
I don't mind telling you.
You have like queens? What? You have queens? Because you said you thought we play a big pot anyway.
Yeah. Like queen jack or
You got me. You got me real good.
Dan continuation bets. Ryan calls.
I didn't think you'd raise.
Turn card actually is good for Dan. Gives him now a diamond draw with the overpair. Might slow the action though because it is a diamond and Ryan could have had a hand like ace 9, something like that he raised pre-flop with.
As long as we're telling.
Black aces?
2 kings.
That's the standard. It's always one notch lower. They say ace jack, it's king jack.
Well, this is an interesting line here.
2 tens. That was a really bad hand for me.
2 tens?
2 kings is a really
Check,
bad hand.
call, bet.
What?
2 kings is a really bad hand.
Oh no, he was talking about him. I was talking about him. I had 2 aces in our hand.
Oh,
very interesting.
He showed me. Oh, no, okay. I thought he was saying in our hand.
Now 380, and I don't know if Dan's stack size is correctly represented by the graphic here, but if so, it looks like there's one choice left for young Dan.
It's either an all-in or fold, right?
What hand?
Diamond draw. It just calls.
That is, yeah, because it looks like he's only got
anything but fold.
He's got more than
700 left.
Just getting stone embarrassed on the stream.
He got there on the turn.
Those are 7 o'clock.
This is greatly played by Ryan if he wins this pot.
This is a deja vu spot. I'm trying to remember what the hand was 2 weeks ago where we had a guy call off about 1/3 of his chips on the turn.
Hey, you have the time?
Dan has played this pot in such a way to give himself the toughest decision possible.
It was Dennis S. that played that hand the last time.
I know you don't have enough flush.
Where he gave up on the hand when he had the ace king.
No, it wasn't Dennis Alguero from way back in the first show?
I'm sorry, Dan S. He played the kings or the ace king in a way that he allowed Owens to take the pot away from him with ace jack with no pair because he gave up on the hand.
I would say GTOs for sure shouldn't block.
Yeah, it was Dan. Last time he was on the stream.
It was Dan Sparger?
Yes.
Harry, do you remember this?
The ace king.
There's a guy check called off $600 on a turn.
Did anyone watch the 100K?
Yeah, folded the river with the ace jack. That was Dan S against Brad Owens in the previous Mimi game.
Yep, I do recall that. It was actually, you can find that highlight on YouTube if you go to our YouTube channel.
And Dan does fold there. Wow.
Find out one way or another, yeah.
It is deja vu. It's one of those. I think with his stack size, he had to go all in on the turn, though, right?
Yeah,
and protect his hand.
Yeah, my first thought was deja vu because it is exactly, well, not exactly, but incredibly similar when you equate in stack sizes to the considerations that you have with 2 jacks on the 9-9.
Because there's no reason
6-4 board.
3 diamond board.
Yeah. It's kind of stupid for me to take that line.
Block Jack 9 suited too.
You guys are smart.
I agree.
So
it was
that was Dan Sparger. That was the hero.
Such a sick hand on the 100.
Yeah, he lost the hand. He lost the hand to Brad Owen when Brad had ace high and he had ace king. Exactly. King high board.
I before the river came, I'm like, I wonder if Bryn's gonna check shove this river, and then he did it.
That was a very interesting line taken by Ryan though to check call and then just bet, pretty much pot. 3 ways here with not a lot of love for anybody. Of these hands.
Matt can win here with a bet because nobody has anything.
Harry threw the link up here in the chat. Those of you that are curious about what in the world we're talking about.
What are you doing the other guy's spot?
Call. We got the king.
Very, very, very unhappily call. Because we have the king.
Check call, bet, winner. Yeah.
So like it helps a little bit. It doesn't help a lot.
Check block folio, laughing call, I guess.
Yeah.
Alright, he had a pair, right?
Yeah, he has the king.
Yay.
So you just like unhappily call and go, eh.
I mean, you'd rather call it that than the nut flush.
Yeah. And that's what they've been talking about too. I was like, oh yeah.
Did Bryn cash? I didn't watch the end of it.
I thought so.
Cause he still had like 15 bigs or something after that.
We're talking about Brent Kinney, who is one of my favorite players to watch play poker. I think he's absolutely one of the best in the world right now. I mean,
his brother played an interesting pot that I saw.
I heard him say that.
Who's his brother?
Tyler. He got down to the final 3 players in the Borgata WPT event last year, where a friend of mine, Daniel Weinman from Atlanta, made just an absurd hero call 3-handed with what was effectively bottom pair. Dan goes on to win the tournament.
Brand is the king of the high roller tournaments. Like,
Matt finds a way to make the best hand here on the turn against Ace King.
nobody's getting any more value out of this hand. So it looked like Dan S had kicker problems.
Except for Martin Gabriel was so fucking right. Honestly, like, he's and like on top of that, he's a scumbag too. So like seeing him do it when
I folded the turn and then the third spade came out of it. Just kind of six in my hand. When I called the flop, I was calling you with a pair of sixes. And
like, he says lots of just like, he's like, honestly, he's worse than the suit in the amount of like the way he talks, and he's also worse in the sense that you can tell that like.
Curious if this hand wasn't on the stream, if he just beats him into the pot because he doesn't have to save face try and make it look like he's capable of the big fold with the 2 jacks with the jack of diamonds there. I doubt it makes any.
I was gonna say I don't think you can play. I think you can't play this hand the same on the stream. Like play that and then play it differently in life because you're still talking. It was a $1,400 pot. Saving face for $1,400. I've been embarrassed for less.
Well, I mean,
That's what he had 99.
Yes, he's doing it to like other high stakes professionals, but like still, just like he also did it to like some of the more recreational guys in those games. It's so bad. It's such a terrible game. And on top of that, I've heard some really funny stuff and stuff. All around. Top pots are great.
Folds to this first small blind. Mr. Delvecchio raises the 30. Yeah, Matt's calling him here with the 8-7 suited. Oh, Dan P's. Dan just folded ace-10? Oh, Matt 3-bet. Okay, I missed the 3-bet there.
Maybe I'll take like half of it.
Graphic is wrong. Dan P has a little more than $315.
Yeah.
It's like he has about 6 or 7.
I think he added on 500.
Again, you're watching Bellagio Poker on the Strip, a.k.a. Bellagio Pots. I'm your host, Dallas Scott, co-host, Mr. John Harden. We also have our look-up extraordinaire associate producer, Harry Corvasi. We haven't given you much to look up tonight. Let's find something for you to do.
You playing all the Venetians?
Yeah. Max firing, super max firing. I need as much in write-offs as possible, so I'm just going super hard. Same with like Bellagio and all that stuff.
That's a great reason to come play the 5-diamond, Ryan, so you have tax write-offs for all the money you've won this year. Great reason.
Even though like the 5Ks aren't very good.
I played like the 800. I played the 800 and the 1K, and then I don't know if I'll play anything else till the main. What?
Both of them were great. Yeah, there's not really anything that you have to win for the main. There's a win 600 coming up that you should definitely play.
Oh, it's like a 250, right? Is that?
They have a 600, yeah, 250K.
When is that? I remember seeing something about
Andres
that.
finds a raise here, King, Queen suited. Ryan's calling.
Yeah,
Wow.
if I play all the tournaments.
Chain reaction to calls here, most likely.
It's like a bunch of 400s.
Yeah.
This is a flop where everybody misses because they all have the same cards, or everybody makes a hand. It's going to be a big pot.
Indicative of the 7 high being 36% out of the small blind for.
I'll probably play like one flight.
Like the last year.
Yeah, I might play like the last 2 flights in the last. I'll play cash.
Mr. Macy calling dead. I hope he doesn't get his draw at diamonds. He's drawing dead there.
6 ways to the flop here, and of course it comes off ace-5. No joy.
Nobody's got an ace.
2 deuces, the best hand here.
How about that? 5 people in the pot. Nobody has an ace. No, I like Dan P's hand over the 2 deuces. You got a flush draw, 2 overs. Now deuces are good now. I'm sorry, a flush draw and 2 cards that can make a pair over deuces.
Yeah, I did a 3,500, 500K during Bellagio.
Yeah, that's at the end of it.
Oh.
Flush on the trip board.
Hard Rock,
Yeah.
Hard Rock, like basically made all their prelims like 1-day events, and they got a pretty good group. I like it a lot better. I think a lot of people, or like they play down to final table.
I'm a fan of playing down to the final table and not playing huge 2 or 3 days events. I don't think people have time to play a lot of 2 or 3 day events anymore. And I think we've done so much to push amateurs out of the game
Nice trap. We didn't fall for your trap.
that making those tournaments 2 and 3 days and multiple re-entries, I think it dissuades them from getting
I don't
know. I think on some level, a lot of guys like to be able to fire multiple barrels even. The structure, I think, has gotten really popular with the amateur players. Is what got real popular in Southern California, where they've got
way too long.
Pretty sure.
But it's like
just going to wait to talk over this.
Play it because there's nothing wrong with the reel, but I don't want to miss a 1,500 the next day. You know?
1-2.
I've done a lot better at it.
Yeah, it's gotten for sure better.
Where the good players can directly skip into day two.
Right.
And there's 15 day ones that you can buy into for $120.
And day two costs you like $2,000 or something to buy into.
2,500, 4,000, whatever it is.
They did a few of them, but I don't.
And you start with 10 big blinds or something like that, or 12 or something like that?
No, the structure is actually pretty decent. And if you pay the direct buy-in amount, you start with somewhere in the range of an above-average stack. I don't know. The thing that's interesting is you get a bunch of players that are interested in playing $100, $200, $300 buy-in.
Mr. Delvecchio's flopped top 2 pair here. Mike Macy's flopped a gut shot. We're going to see a little bit of a pot here.
You get a mix of players that are willing to direct buy into a tournament for $3,000, $5,000, playing along with $200 and $300 buy-in players. It's an interesting dynamic that you don't often see.
It is.
King's full. The stone nuts for Mikey D here. Fortunately, he's up against
gut shot.
Queen High.
I think I would buy direct in for the $3,000 in the tournament. I don't think I just don't like playing the extra 2 days.
Like Sunday, there's their normal like 20K, which I don't play, but there's like I think it's maybe 350 or 250, 65K guarantee. There's like $100, 15K.
I mean, I've been playing on their. I started when they ran the 500, so that's like 3 Sundays I've been playing on there.
They have a 500 on Sundays? On Tuesdays. On Tuesdays they do. They have a 500 every Tuesday.
But they have one on Sunday.
Yeah, the last Sunday of the month.
Yeah. How many is the one on Tuesday?
I think it's like 30 to 40.
Delvecchio's going to bet and win the pots.
15K guarantee.
When are they going to combine the player pools?
I want to talk.
That's mid-next year, and also mid-next year is when Pennsylvania gets up. So hopefully Pennsylvania will join by like end of next year, maybe.
That's going to be nice.
They're talking about the fact that New Jersey, Delaware, and Nevada have entered an agreement, the governors have, where you can now play online. It was that you can only play Delaware against in Delaware players, Jersey players, Nevada players.
Now they're trying to.
Now they've passed the legislation where you can play from Jersey to Vegas players and Delaware players. It's going to expand the online playing pool.
Overlays like $500 or something. If it overlays, if it's 15K, it will pay 5 spots. The fifth will be 1,500. Sixth will be 1,600. Seventh will be like 1,800, and the pay jump from second to first is the same as sixth to fifth. That, and then it also starts at 10, 20 blinds, 10 KD.
So it's just like it's a satellite with like.
Yeah. It's really bad thing.
King Jack here flops an open ender. 6 is in the lead. 9-7 to clubs.
There was like 6 left, and I was like holding stuff, and then I busted.
Checked around.
Fourth.
6s hits the gin card.
I'm in the money. I busted.
It's a great card because Michael Macy turns the flush draw to go with the open end straight draw.
And Dan finds a way to pick up a gutter as well.
I mean, it was like, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. I was like, yes, all right, I can go on. It was literally like 15 minutes, too.
Yeah, I only play online on Sundays.
I play Tuesdays on WSOP.
Good card for Michael Macy, bad card for Dan. Because Macy,
I haven't played on it.
He has a bluff, and that's the only way he's putting any more chips in the pot.
Every Sunday starting in January, they have $1 million guarantee. It's a 260.
I thought it was like their terms and services, you can't play Nevada. But other people.
I don't think that Nevada and Delaware have been playing a while now. That legislation was just passed a couple weeks ago, and it doesn't take effect until after the first of the year.
Oh, you're saying get your credit card.
Now they have a site in both states, but you couldn't play against players in the other states.
Segregated.
Yeah.
They'll even let you verify the issues that you might have extreme difficulty depositing.
You might have what?
Difficulty depositing and withdrawing. However, if you use Bitcoin, you won't run into any issues. Or what I do, I just use player transfer.
Did Michael bet 320 here?
I mean, deposit.
Yep. Only way you can win.
I just use player transfers for
Young
Yeah, I
Sparger
play cash on-
in a spot wants to make
I
it
don't
appear
play
like
on
he
it. I play
thinks
cash
he
on,
is.
like, when I lived in Jersey, I played like 2, 5.
This would be a.
He's only beat by quads and queen 10, right? Or queens full.
Yeah.
10-6, 10 tray. Queen. Yeah.
Yeah, but the pot was open pre-flop, and like, he just.
That's the more plausible narrative, is that he just flings the raise in here. Snap muck from Michael.
You can let me know anytime. Yes.
They're saying that
tank raise is what that was.
That Delaware and Nevada have been linked for over a year now. I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, no, it's Jersey that just recently got added. Yeah,
but Jersey got added to Delaware and Nevada. Like it was.
Correct. But I mean,
I don't know how Jalen Ramsey.
how big is the player pool in Delaware?
Apparently, it's very small.
Yeah.
I mean, he shoved them at the end of the play, but that happens all the time. No one's ever gotten thrown out of the game for shoving a player. They've gotten a penalty, like a 15-yarder, but no one's ever even do anything.
For 3 hours.
Oh god. And then Mike Evans.
If they get Pennsylvania,
Mike
that would
Evans
be
says,
huge.
"Hold
But
my
they
beer."
haven't entered into that agreement yet with them. But
I'm trying to say which one.
Pennsylvania's
I mean,
what, the
obviously, doing
fifth
a
most
chokehold
populous
is probably
state in
worse, but Mike
the
Evans
union?
just,
Sixth.
like, bull rushing
Harry
guys.
didn't even need to Google that one, just knew it off the top of his head.
Evans is pretty bad too.
oh, Ryan's waking up kings here.
Pocket Kings night continues here on Bellagio Pots. Now this has gone an open from under the gun from Matt with the Queen 10 of clubs. Andres flats the button, and Ryan putting the larger 3-bet in out of the blinds this time.
Is Matt gonna get jiggy? Yes, he is.
Under the presumption that Andres is probably going to be compelled to come along. No, sir. Heads up with the Queen 10 off in position.
6-3 of hearts would have won this hand, I'm guessing. Nope. Unless he goes, oh,
Now, this
bad
might be,
spot for Matt.
This might be abject disaster for Matt, depending on the run out here.
It's like 220.
This is a spot where Ryan is very likely to get 3 streets of value.
Mike, you hungry?
However,
Maybe. So I want to go to fix.
That's in the Bellagio?
Yeah.
Ryan probably has zero reason to believe his 2 kings are not likely the best hand here.
He checks.
Pot control check is a fortuitous option here. Wow.
Looks like
half pot size bet.
360.
Not even. There's 850 in the middle. He fires 360 at it with top 2.
Ryan's check calling here. Matt has to avoid the disaster of the 7 or 8 pairing.
$1,500 pot
King.
going into
Oh,
the river, and you just counterfeited top 2.
Yeah.
How you doing? Checks it again. Now Matt's fears in this spot are.
Well, he beats ace queen, king queen. He beats all queen hands that Ryan would have. But the flush comes, the board pairs. He's got nothing. Wow.
Yeah.
$1,500 to add to the stack.
That is a delightful limit hold'em run out if you've got the 2 kings. You just win the maximum. No limit hold'em, a little bit more caution is advised, obviously.
I'm decided. Do you just go like 1,200?
That's an 18 bet pot in a limit hold'em game.
Yeah.
Recheck, 3C, I don't have the king of spades. cost to myself.
Well, so you and I having a conversation where the player came up and asked us if you have quad sixes on a Jack 6 playing board.
I don't even want to talk about this.
Do you ever stop raising with quad sixes?
No, the way it was presented to me, and this is how guys at home know that poker isn't dead, and very specifically limit hold'em isn't dead, is when you get presented with the hypothetical of, okay, you just went 11 bets on the turn of Jack 6-6 with pocket sixes. And I said, do what? 11 bets? And at that point, my brain just melted.
Yeah.
But yeah, that actually happened in a poker game here at the Bellagio. Guy made the number 2 and elected to put 11 bets in on one street.
I think my favorite hand, though, and recent memory, spade will draw for Dan S. Nines are good for Andres.
Dan put the 3-bet here on the button and is going to c-bet relatively small, 110 into 220. Yeah. Andres is obviously going to come along with a hand that rates to be pretty decent. The unfortunate gin card unavailable is the 9 of spades.
Honestly, ACR Sunday schedule is like a month ahead.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I like the fact that Dan's still firing here with the 9s. They rate to be the best hand.
Dan's got the jack high flush draw.
I'm sorry. Andres is called. Oh. I have the hands backwards.
My first week I ever played it, I final tabled that 1-off that keeps 109. This was like before the summer. And my first was like 35K.
Does Dan find a way to fire 3 barrels at this?
And I took 5th. And it's like such a double beat because I was going to snap withdraw in Bitcoin. And just like, so it's like, I would have like, that beat cost me like 25K, that would have tripled, you know, it cost me like
if he does, I don't think he's going to be successful.
3K at the time, you know, like, so sick.
Last week, Sunday, I spent
He is going to fire.
1,000 in the middle, and he's going to bet about half of it.
480-ish?
Yeah.
I really thought Andres was just going to beat him into the pot here with 2 9s.
I mean, not knowing the hands, I think I call here with 9s. Because like we said, they rate to be the best hand more often than not.
Show me 2 kings here.
Yeah.
Opportunity available 1, 3, and 2 and $5 line on immediate seating is available 1, 3, and 2 and $5 line on it.
Value bet sizing from Dan here with the busted flush draw. I mean, it's a compelling narrative of the overpair.
Wow, and he lets it go. Show the bluff. It's a $1,500 pot. Show the bluff. I'm actually not a big fan of I don't show bluffs.
Yeah, but earlier in the night we were discussing, Dan got in a spot where he put the bluff in with 7 high, and you said show the bluff, and I said no, you got to wait till there's 1,000 in the middle. And
now there's 1,400 there.
You know,
yeah.
Now no longer capable. Oh well.
Yeah, well, Kitty's not a U.S. citizen. She doesn't have a visa or anything.
It's still surprising that
5 straddle on in this pot. Michael under the gun, opening to what looks like $80 with the 2 10s. Dan's going to be next in with pocket 4s.
I guess I probably shouldn't read too much into what Kitty posts.
That gets out of the way with the offsuit ace-6. Dan declines. Billy with 5 deuce off.
Sure,
not going to defend his
Billy's
straddle.
been kind of quiet here for a while.
Yes,
we haven't really seen much from him. He played a couple of hands earlier, most of them 3-bet takedowns pre-flop. He did win the hand with the deuces just a moment ago.
Sleepy little flop. Jack 5 tray for the 10s and the 4s.
What he does when he's home.
C-bet likely here from Mike.
Call here by Dan is not wrong. Either is a fold, because 4s are a lot of times the best hand here. Mike could be continuing with ace, king, king, queen, ace, jack, or not ace, jack because he's losing there, but a lot of hands that Mike would have raised pre-flop with. He
Low
could have
variance
missed him.
route taken once again. On to the next.
Sometimes it's 50.
Still, that's
Again, you're watching Bellagio Poker on the Strips. Your host tonight are me, Dallas Scott, and you are
John Hard,
the Great Hardini on Twitter. I am Dallas Scott 73 on Twitter. Please follow us, of course, at Bellagio Poker on Twitter. And you can, if you want to come play in the game, hit us at Bellagio Poker or poker at BellagioResort.com is our email address. Our next game is November 19th and 20th. It's the 25-50 no limit hold'em game. I think we have like 2 seats left for each night. Again, hit us on Twitter at Bellagio Poker or poker at BellagioResort.com, and Harry will get back to you as soon as possible so we can get those seats filled.
I believe the Sunday game is 7. And the Sunday game is 1 and 1. Harry's letting us know we got 7 locked up for both nights at the moment.
I take Jacks over here.
I think I'd still get flashbacks. I still get flashbacks of fucking King Queen offsuit. Jake Schindler, I see him make a Dustin Lee in a free kick. Like, super fun thing, ridiculous. I see him. So I see King Queen off. Fuck Jake Schindler. Every time. Every single time. Yeah, it is.
I wonder if Sean feels the same way about his losing hand to you.
Matt on the button, standard open with the king queen off.
Which is the hand they're talking about. How do you not open with that hand, right?
Just a flat call from Dan here with the ace-4. Michael with the
infamous Queen Jack of Hearts.
Queen Jack of Hearts.
I mean, in self-proclaimed interviews, he doesn't though.
3-bet, puts another squeeze in here.
I agree with that, but
Michael has, for the second time, successfully identified a very good opportunity to put a squeeze in.
With the worst hand, by the way.
Squeeze is no fun when you have the best hand.
I agree.
Unless Dan finds a way to put the 4-bet shove in here with his 800 or so effective, that's going to be all she wrote.
Because, I mean, he's won everything this year, you know.
Another small one manufactured for Mr. Macy. Well done. Happy birthday to one Harry Corvasi.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. I wish you happy birthday.
18, 19 years old now, something like that.
He's 21, exactly. Again. It's the anniversary of your 21st birthday? Oh, 9th anniversary.
You can finally throw that fake ID in the trash can. Congratulations.
Mr. Delvecchio raising with the Jack-8 of clubs.
Like, I personally, even after the summer stuff I had, I feel like we got fairly backwards and everything. A lot of my first, like, actual 6-figure like, even after
Andre's going to be 4th into this one.
4 players.
Everybody's got everybody's cards. It's going to hit a lot of people or miss everybody, right?
Either one or the other.
Yeah. Hits 2 people.
8s against 8s.
Better kicker. Gut shot draw. Backdoor flush draw. Jack of spades on the turn would be a great card.
Mikey gets to put the C-bet in here. Accidentally made the best hand.
Blinding, right?
It is. Got 2 cards right here.
Check call from Billy with a bunch of rivers he's going to be fond of.
That's I want to do that someday, and then yeah.
And then show it to them.
It's got to be on the button when they don't give you the last card, and you're just like 3-bet on the button and play with 1.
Mike almost throws that hand over in disgust like he doesn't think he can win, but he's got the best hand.
Got him. Always pick your hand up all the way. You run better when you do that.
Yeah. And then just say how much you liked it.
K-Tran, this channel is not new. We've been doing this for
It's our
about
second
season, but we've been doing it for about 7 total months. We started back in March, and then we took off time from WSOP. We come back. We have one more episode, or 2 more episodes, 19th and 20th, the 25-50 no limit hold'em game, and then we are done until probably February because we have the WSOP tournament and the holidays coming on. I'm going on 3 weeks vacation.
WP2.
What'd I say?
The other.
It's right there in front of my face.
Yeah. Well, you know, you have yet to prove to me that you're actually literate.
I never said I was.
Just got the wool pulled over everybody's eyes.
Yes. When I do my scripts for all the other voiceovers I do across the country, I have somebody else read them to me, and then I just memorize what they say.
There you go. Whatever works.
Didn't overlay, so then I won from a 500 to 5K, 5K to 25K, 25K, 1 out of like 95.
Look at our producer Harry just all over the answer to the questions in the chat tonight.
You got in by accident.
And I like, I literally only registered because I thought it was.
Oh, the person who.
He told me it wasn't overlay, I won by 4. So I turned like $4 into like 18,000. Yeah, the guy who did that was actually from Minnesota. Yeah, the guy who wanted to do 7 bracelet, thinking he was buying into a 1500 no limit.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
When it was a 1500 no limit to 7.
Never played before, won the bracelet.
Didn't the guy do that in the limit event?
Yeah,
well,
this guy did
this
that
year, last year.
Yeah.
Took second.
Man.
Mr. Macy's got pocket 7s.
2 black 7s on
There's been a lot of 7s the last 2 nights, too. Who's going to wake up with kings? Ryan's calling him with the old 9-6 offsuit.
Nice little splash here. Fortunately, it's in the wheelhouse where one of them can actually manage to win a big pot.
So many $112.
Not necessarily on that flop.
No, or I guess it was just $12. Buy in with 900.
7 on the turn might make a pot inflate.
I must have had $60, $72 spare change in my.
They both have gut shots.
I probably got off easy.
Adam C, $5 and $10 line hold'em. Adam C. Adam, yes? Bring it up 32, sir.
It's like 50.
Check raise with the 9 high.
So sad when this ended yesterday. Now I just can't wait to get out of here.
What's he trying to represent here?
Yesterday I felt like I played really well.
6-7?
Everyone, and I lost
a set?
Ace-X?
Like $400, I feel completely.
Does he check Ace-X twice, though? That's the exact card that Michael Macy was looking for. And might give Ryan another bluff at the pot because he's made a pair. Looks like Ryan's going to fire again. Unfortunately for him. What's a big bet?
Repping the nuts when your opponent has the second nuts. Not often.
That's an $800 bet into a $430 pot.
Yeah.
The problem is that Ryan check raised here on the turn, right?
Yeah.
So he's not representing the 9-7. He was representing the 6-7.
Yeah.
And now Macy's has to decide if it's worth calling 840 for half the pot if he believes that he actually has a 7.
You know, the massive overbets really have come full circle from about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
To rear their ugly head again.
Yeah, it so has the pre-flop and tournament.
The limp raise?
Well, and then the 3x or the 2.5x raise has kind of gone away in tournaments.
Saying the raising sizes have skewed.
Yeah. Michael's declared he's
that is
all
a
in.
raise all in
Yeah.
with the number 2. Vomit into the muck.
River Bank.
Nice spot for Mr. Macy. He can no longer claim to be a loser on the stream. He's won the last 2 nights.
That was dirty.
I don't think he's won the 6,000 he lost on one particular stream though.
Where's the 7?
Yeah, 7 would have been a bad card for Mike because it would have made Ryan a bigger straight.
Yeah.
And Macy this flush or the set.
I don't see Michael putting another $1 into the pot if the
I didn't mean to
river's
take too
not
long. I was pretty sure I wasn't
exactly
going to call it unless you had a
6.
7, but needed to give it an appropriate amount of time. Give myself a chance.
No.
You might have to call it top 7.
I guess it depends on what the river card is again. Because we're back to that. If you're calling on the turn, what are you looking for on the river?
Well, the texture of that board changes drastically going into that river. So.
I guess it almost doesn't matter what river. I guess I need a hard river.
Yeah.
Replay.
Actually thought
Billy's playing a hand.
I have the 7 of hearts.
Opening a hand nonetheless and flopping top
Wouldn't have
pair.
mattered, really.
We got pair against pair against pair.
Backdoor flush draw, backdoor flush draw.
This is the way a hold'em
Best
game's
hand.
supposed to work. Everybody gets a little piece, and you hope you got the best of it.
Looks like an $80 bet. Player behind Michael, so like, oh, the other Mike's behind him, so he's gonna call, or at least call. What does Delvecchio do here with second pair nut kicker? Calls.
The answer is peel.
Ace is disastrous for Macy.
Ace is up against ace is up now. Billy is playing third fiddle.
Drawn to a jack.
And he's gonna barrel.
210. To a pot of 370. Now it's 580. Wow.
This one might get bloated in a hurry.
Yep. I'd be surprised if it doesn't.
Flat.
And
from
Delvecchio's
aces and
raising
deuces.
from behind here. No, wow.
There's not a lot of scary rivers. That, however, could arguably be one of them.
I don't think that river's as scary. I mean, just from the way the hands played out, I don't think that anybody's putting it. King, queen is the hand that floats there, right? I mean, what hand is that 10 good at, though? Like, $500?
Yep.
Delvecchio just flats. Should be a pretty easy fold for Billy here. The overcall, he can't make the overcall here. He's got to put at least one of them on an ace.
If he's thinking about continuing this one, his read is
Dead
just
wrong.
a little bit off. Makes the right decision. Just a ho-hum 2-dime pot for aces up against aces up. Billy's got to be a little perturbed there that his opponent share outs and he still finds a way to lose to aces up on that turn.
Yeah, you're gonna call. You're gonna lose like
That's the spot you want. Opponent sharing aces. One little old pair.
Oh yeah, no, I still really want to get out of here.
Who's Ellie Sriracha that says 25-50 is too small a game for him?
20, 40, 80, 160. Playing piddly games.
I was swinging like crazy to win $2,000. It's not like I was bossy.
If you drop 15,000 versus 16,000 for 30 minutes,
We've been trying to get Nick Shulman to do some commentary for us.
Issue is, for those of you that don't know, he is compensated in some way by the Poker Go people, and
he's contractually
might
obligated
have
over
some
there.
exclusivity issues.
I can't believe I didn't slow roll. Huh? I can't believe I didn't slow roll either.
It would have made it more enjoyable for me, man. You should have.
If I just like call and be like,
You're not just a poker reporter, you're the poker reporter, Ellie.
What if I got the Jack 9?
Alright, guys.
No, I mean, yeah, you could have some.
This is the last hand.
Time flop.
How long are we playing? How long are we playing?
How long are we playing?
One more half hour?
Okay.
I'm assuming it's slow rolling is fine enough. This type of a game.
Yeah, I'm in. I don't have change.
I'm gonna just make it an option. I'm gonna try to slow roll someone who's 30 minutes.
Macy raised with the ace queen of hearts.
Full roll declaration for Matt Affleck in one seat.
I'm very careful.
And here's his opportunity. He can defend with the king 5. Declined.
Are we on?
Also, I'll roll next time.
Yeah, definitely. I was gonna just 3-bet you with the 7 deuce right there out of spite, but
king 5 would have gotten the job done.
Deuce is gonna pay the time.
Get burned on the last one. I would have bought the pair and a one draw.
If you're coming out for the 5 diamond, we do offer poker rates. Give Penny or Coretta a call. 702-693-7291.
90, I believe. Yeah, 7290.
Where I'm from, they actually go to the next hand. They don't put out a flop.
693-7290. Poker hosts, if they don't answer, leave a message. They'll get you sorted.
Told you I'm really good at that game.
Keep you around.
Looks like we got about 30 minutes left in the stream.
Then you should never ever.
Our producers are
I
telling
hit 9
us.
out of 11 once.
You're good at sports betting.
And that was at least, and poker.
You have a higher percentage on time flops.
Hold the Mikey here on the button, opening the king 9 of spades.
He's got to start making profit.
Billy in the 3 seat with the superior king queen off.
Like we had a deal. Like if an 8
Just
gives flat
falling.
time flop, he has to pay me $100.
Head up to the flop.
He's got to start doing that.
That's what he's been. People will be like,
First
"There's
one
no
to
way
bet will
it's
win.
And then you just keep losing.
Bets
Like
$20. Oh, he calls.
And they want to do it
Nice.
for more, and then
Must know he's got the best hand. Doesn't help anybody.
you gotta re-rig the system in your favor.
Yeah. I can guarantee you that if I made any sort of prop bet that would make me profitable, if it hit me, I would never get
Delvecchio
it again.
knuckles twice to lose to the king queen.
The minimum.
Forever unlucky.
And I would say that I'm luckier than the average person, just not at that.
Not at that.
And not at sports betting.
I am much luckier than the average person.
One of my best friends is like possibly the luckiest human being, but he has stuck so much money at CCR, it's absurd. He loses like the 8-handed CCR like 70% of the time, but you know, he just like final tables the main, just has the best luck in everything besides CCR. Like it's
Gotta
absurd.
play CCR Jesse.
Like quite frequently.
CCR, credit card
Every
roulette.
weekend.
Oh,
I'm the worst.
I am buried at credit card roulette
He's
lifetime.
only in there too, and he runs better than anyone at CCR. So it's like I sort of.
I don't think I've ever not paid.
Jesse gets burned.
I've lost a couple 7, 8, 9-handers. Fortunately, they're not at the most expensive of places. A buddy of mine is in town right now. When he goes out with his high roller friends, they do the sickest thing I've ever seen, which is they'll CCR before they order anything.
Oh, no,
and so they know know who they're putting the hammer down on for the rest of the night.
Wow.
Oh, we need a second bottle of Opus 1, you know?
No. Wow.
Pretty brutal.
It's like the new way they play Chinese, where you get to see when you're in Fantasyland.
Yeah.
And you get to see your opponent set his hand before you set yours. I don't like that. I just
it balances out. I mean, how often do you change the way you set your fantasy hand to be anything other than the maximum number of royalties? You know?
I was in the coverage being drunk.
The only reason I don't care for it is because it potentially slows it down just a hair.
Yeah.
But it's easier than getting all the room service menus out. You know,
so they can hide their hand.
Yeah, that just gets infuriating. It's definitely the easiest way to enforce parity. Looks like Michael's going to open first in out of the second $5 blind. Andres right behind him's got him dominated with the 9-8 of hearts. Heads up to a flop for $30.
Jesse's final table at Borgata.
Everybody misses. You get a miss, you get a miss, you get a miss. Everybody misses.
Just like
super.
6 of hearts be an interesting one.
And I think he punted the one before too. And he ran deep back to back.
Not gonna happen.
Definitely in close proximity. I don't remember.
He deactivated all of his. He's a really nice kid too, and I like him. He after that he refused the interview, and then he deactivated all of his social media accounts for 2 or 3 weeks. And he loved social media too. He just couldn't do it at all.
Yeah.
He's a super boss, but it's just pretty sick.
Yeah, something like that would be perfect. Especially if you look back and are
it was hard to watch.
Oh yeah. Jesse is honestly.
And the other guy who
I was really happy for me.
Jesse Sylvius, who they're talking about there.
The one guy moved up from 6 to 3%.
Yeah, the Asian guy.
Yeah, that was amazing.
To raise the 30 by Dan P with the Queen Jack. Really thinking about calling here or raising with the 5 deuce clubs?
We swapped 5% on that.
I like the raise.
And then on dinner break day 2, we swapped it.
130, 140.
And then when I won the tournament, I offered 5 and he said no, just 2. And so he only had 2% of me.
Andres folds ace 6 of spades, which is by far the best hand.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Jesse.
Again, I remember it was great when Tyler's final table at Borgata.
Yeah.
When Ben won.
Yeah.
I'm curious about Dan's stack size here as they both flop 1 pair.
Looks like he's got about less than 400. They're 330, 350.
3 4 5.
I wonder if Billy is aware of the stack size he's leading into. He should, given that he's about 14 inches away.
2 overs in the backdoor gutter.
May not. Dan gonna
he ran out 5
put it all
be
in,
continuing in this pod in one form or another, without a doubt.
And with as little chips as Dan has, Billy should be calling here, right? It looks like he's all in for.
Borgata's the best spot for me to swap.
Billy bet 140, and Dan's got.
We're gonna know in a minute here. Less than 500. So it's gonna be
430. 440 for him to call. No, it's 300 for him to call.
Pretty sweet.
I think he's committed himself here.
300 to win 1160.
It's about as good odds as you're going to get in Holden nowadays.
Now I just realized that we've got the true outs indicator up here. You see one of the.
They're just trying to burn us off.
Oh no, I'm incorrect. There's a way in the software to have the true outs be shown if somebody folded the deuce of diamonds in that spot, but no, it showed the proper number of outs for a theoretically full deck with no knowledge of what your opponents have folded. I don't know if I like it one way or the other more, but I mean it's a setting that's available in the software here.
So if you had 700 left, I would have So instead of costing me 840, it would have cost me 1,300.
Actually, our producer just walked in the room. I'm going to ask him a quick question. Hey, Matt.
You got me. If you got me, if you got me.
So,
there aren't that many servers.
Jason's going to hop on the mic here. The quick question for you is, you know, there's the setting in the software to where you can do the perceived outs versus the actual outs.
Okay.
We got ace queen against ace queen here, hijack and cutoff. Billy got caught with his hand in the cookie jar just a moment ago and is going to elect a 3-bet at this time, try and exact some revenge on Dan P. So, you know, like say, you know, one of your outs is the deuce of diamonds, but the 9th seed folded the deuce of diamonds pre. Which we have it set to where we ignore which hands were actually mucked.
If you look at the outs that are on the top, there's actually one specifically that are lit up and grayed out.
Oh, they're shaded if they're out of play.
Correct.
Okay.
It shows all the outs that are possible. However, the ones that have already been unavailable, that's correct, have been darkened out. But of course, if there's a hand that's possibly where it's not shown, if we don't read it properly, unfortunately, it will take it as live outs, which might not necessarily be true, but of course that's information we don't know, so therefore.
Cool. Well, I appreciate that.
Not a problem.
So Dan is elected to call the 3-bet from Billy here. Flop, check, check. I think this pot is likely on its way to Choptown unless somebody takes the initiative here very quickly. So is that an active decision, or is that just the default way that that software is set up to where it shows the shaded outs?
That's the way we have it set up as of now. I don't believe I've made a change in the settings in order for that to be that way.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure, to be honest.
Fair enough. Well, sir, I appreciate your time and all that you do.
It's my pleasure. I hope the stream went through pretty successful tonight. I don't think we had too many hiccups.
I think like Raz is either my third best.
I don't care about Raz. I care about Raz.
Always root for some bigger hands against some even bigger hands, but that part notwithstanding, production team did exemplarily well today.
I think it went through pretty well. Jason, our operating cameraman, executive producer, whatever title we want to potentially give him, he did a flawless job this evening.
Excellent. Michael Macy in the cutoff, just firing the ace-10 into the muck to the under-the-gun open of Matt Affleck. Pretty reasonable play when you really pause and give it a minute, but, you know, when you're just looking for action.
Let's see.
What's up?
Kill a Tran, we just changed our chairs. So Ryan defends with the suited queen-jack here. Matt declines to put a c-bet in. Ryan does have the queen-eye flush draw on this spot. Might be inclined to continue.
I think this is a good opportunity for Ryan to bet here.
Yeah, Kill a Tran. We replaced our chairs beginning of the summer. It was June or so, right?
It was right before the World Series. We got all new chairs in. Yeah, we did have it for the last stream. That's correct. We had it for the 10, 20, 40 no limit game. We had the new.
Yeah, we have documented proof if you go to our archives.
JRB story from back in the day. He was playing some super big.
I believe it was also on one of the Andrew Nimi streams as well, one of the last ones before the summer.
Yeah.
To slow roll it. So like he's getting. Yeah, he's like the
Matt Affleck loses the initiative in that pot when he checks back and allows Ryan to fire a bet out of position on the turn.
And so they're slow rolling him every opportunity, and he's just tilted out of his mind. So finally,
we do finish the night with a bomb pot.
All right.
So that will be the final hand that is shown. Outside of that, I'm going to continue to let you guys watch, and I'm going to go get ready to start putting some stuff away. And
it was nice talking to you again, sir. Appreciate your time.
Enjoyed.
And he's like, finally, I get to like swirl him back.
Handsome
he's got
chairs.
the second nuts, and so he's like,
handsome chairs.
Love it.
And the guy's like,
our Mr. Director Craig Lump would be glad to know you think they're handsome chairs. We're gonna give him a congratulations.
I was staying away from his visit to Container Park. Didn't know if that was greenlit to be discussed, but if you'd like to do so.
He finally got married.
Congratulations.
She decided on him, so he got married yesterday. Congratulations, Craig.
Like, just called River in the nut flush scenario where he
Queen Jack suited's been pretty hot to hand tonight.
Just so he
clubs, hands, hearts.
Yeah, like. And then JRB just loses his mind. Yeah.
Again, you're watching Bellagio Poker on the Strip, a.k.a. Bellagio Plots. I'm your host, Dallas Scott. Co-host is Mr. John Harden. We do this every other week, but our last stream for the season will be November 19th and 20th. It's going to be a $25-50 million hold'em game. We do have one seat available for each of those games.
Hit us up on Twitter if you're interested at Bellagio Poker, or you can hit us up on the email, which is poker@BellagioResort.com. We'll get you sorted the best of our ability.
Grinder of Commerce, but he used to be from Florida. And I was in a game with him where this like
Macy opening the ace-9 of spades +1 here.
All this stuff like that.
And is just going to have to take the blinds.
They got it all in. And Martin knew he had an overpair. And Martin had 2 pairs. And when the guy called us all in on the river, he's like, all right, you're good, you're good. He goes, I thought so. And he slams down his aces. And he goes, ship it over here. And Martin holding his 2 pairs up in the air facing this way. And there's a crowd of people behind. And they thought that he was about to fold his hand. He's like, how much is it? And so the dealer counts out all the guys' chips, puts it all out. He goes, 2,700. So Martin puts out his 2,700. The dealer counts as 2,700. And as soon as the dealer picks up the first stack to move it, he goes, oh, wait. And then he puts it down. And then the dealer moves all the chips the other direction. The guy's like, what are you doing? It's my pot. It's like, no, he's got 2 pairs. And it was on video.
I'm not a fan of the slow rolls.
Kid Chris recorded it.
I don't know. Unfortunately, the major victim of my slow roll exploits is sitting in this office with us at the moment. Mr. Harry Birthday Boy Corvesi manufactured a couple slow roll opportunities on him, playing split pot games where I'm only slow rolling him for his half of the pot. It was, made me happy and him sad.
I've only slow rolled somebody once in my life on purpose, and it was in a tournament to a guy who was just obnoxious at the table and was slow rolling other people. I waited till I got the stone cold nuts against him when he went all in, and he proceeded to just sit there and wait for him to call for a clock, and wait to the last 3, 2. I call and show him the ace high flush to his king high flush. That's the only time I've ever done it. But he was just so obnoxious. Oh, we're gonna have a hand here, Dan.
The problem is you're not only slow rolling him, you're slowing down the entire game you're in if you're doing that.
The table appreciated it. Let me tell you, I get it. The table appreciated it.
Sparker here opening the 2 black jacks. Ryan very next in, calls with the king queen of diamonds, gets a fair flop, as does Michael Macy with the 5 high.
So 110?
Yeah. Couple draws to the nuts here.
Mike says no.
Young Dan put to another tough decision.
Ryan's aggressiveness have won him quite a few pots tonight.
Yes. Unfortunately, lost him one big one when he decides to bet 2x pot river when the gutter
Macy,
comes in for Michael. The 4-card straight.
I wish they did a lot. Like, I think more people prefer doing it.
Yeah, I mean, so I slow rolled young Harry here a few times. I did get one perfect opportunity playing Badoogie to slow roll my wife.
Makes it better for the game.
How'd that work out for you?
Which is really the way it's
I was amused for a moment.
The wind doesn't make the
I know your wife, and I don't think that she was amused at all.
Yeah, it was rough.
Third line is
Cut off open with the 8-6 of spades for Matt Affleck here. Dan, the next seat over, a queen 10 off and an effective stack in the ballpark of $800. Putting in a 3-bet. 100 flat. 110, excuse me. Andres with the suited ace.
All of a sudden, 200 on the
And the 3-bet pot out of the blinds. Just going to make the discipline lay down. And
Andres has had a tough night tonight.
Yeah.
He's been put some spots. He's made some great laydowns. He had a hand where he could have lost a lot of chips to LaPlante.
I think he's still small winner for the evening, though. It's a very impressive part about that.
I mean, maybe it.
Not in pillow, not a pillow.
I don't think it does, and like it changes the dynamics of the game so much, and most people aren't aware of it. So I think it makes it can make like an okay game really good.
I actually don't like it because the way it changes the dynamics. But
are they talking about the 3 blind game?
That's just me being in
Matt raises the 30. DMP's going to wake up with the queens behind him.
Now, keep in mind, the very previous pot to this was open from Matt and a 3-bet from Dan.
And here it goes. 1 ace gone. Dan size number, or Matt size number, stack size. He decides he doesn't have enough money to make it worth it.
Shows the 2 queens for good measure.
Salmon knit and then just like 3-bet 6, 7.
I'm a big knit. Fold aces and bomb.
That's probably the worst time you can pick up aces.
Yeah.
There's just no.
I was really disappointed.
I was like disappointed too. I had ace queen, and not like if he 3-bets me, I was 4-betting.
I would probably feel it too.
Oh, now you're just trying to tilt it.
No, I'm serious. I would have. I mean, Hell said he's a friend of mine, so I get to like be honest and needle him at the same time. It's like the perfect combination.
That's great. You're gonna bet at least 1 straight. We don't know what the turn was.
Turn's like
Talking about a hand previous tonight where they played the bomb pot and Mr. Delvecchio bomb pot where everybody just puts in $50 pre-flop.
He bet folds the 2 aces on the 10-9X board.
10-9-4 when Matt Affleck raised him big with the open-ended straight draw.
So Ryan chooses to 3-bet the ace-queen offsuit after the button open from Michael Macy. Little does he know, pocket aces are the holdings here on the button.
And they were just talking about this, how Ryan said he would have 4-bet if they had not played the bomb pots with his ace-queen against Delvecchio's aces. So
this looks like a 4-bet coming here. Ryan capable of just laying this down straight away?
Yes, he is. Will he? I don't know. He's out of position, right?
Yes.
It's a tough hand to play out of position when you're being 4-bet pre-flop.
We did see one unsuccessful 5-bet shove from ace-queen last night on the stream very early from Mr. Kirk.
That's right. He had to walk into the ace-king. Ryan's going to call.
That's a scary door.
Oh, wow.
Michael Macy back to his old self here on Bellagio Poker on the strip.
This pot's not going to get too big from Macy, though. I think there's just, it's way too much in Ryan's range to get jiggy with aces.
Good check back from the 2 aces of Michael, though.
Was the other ace live? Do we know? It is live.
That is a disheartening board of outs. A single ace of hearts.
Kings are within Mike Macy's range here too, and I think that's what Ryan's thinking about. He's going to go ahead and bet his ace-queen here. Was that 670?
Yeah. Now I think Michael's stack is a little bigger than our graphic represents. It looks like he's got 16 plus 100.
Oh, at least.
Call it 2,000.
Yeah, he's got at least that much. He's got 12 black there, maybe. Maybe more than that. Problem is, if he calls this, he has to call the all. He has to call the all in on the river, right?
Barring Jack 10-ish heart. Man, I don't know. I think he's trying to find a way to get away from it right now. This would be a mind-boggling fold.
I don't think it's that difficult of a fold, actually. Because this is all over Ryan's range here.
But you give Ryan the initiative to put in a bluff here with a wide range of hands by checking back the flop. Yeah, it looks like 17-ish hundred is his effective stack right here.
Yes, Killatran Ryan has bluffed quite a bit tonight and won a huge pot off of Dan P with a bluff tonight.
I don't know if I agree with that in the chat that he's never checking back kings full there.
100% of the time, I think he's 95% of the time, I think he's checking back kings full.
I mean, a check back with kings full is obviously fine there.
Right. All in. Oh, bad spot.
Ryan's going to vomit and call here, right? Yeah, he already called, it looks like.
No, he asked for a count.
I thought he threw a chip in.
No. Now Ryan's sick because he does. Now he's. The way the hand played out, it's 100% that Mike could have kings here.
I mean, yeah, there it is.
Once or twice. Have aces. Probably in trouble.
I'm gonna run it twice.
Run it twice, you have one out, young man.
Run twice.
Not a lot of outs.
No. Not looking too good. Nice hand.
That's a doozy. That's $3,400 snapping off the aces with the ace queen off.
I almost folded.
Good argument for.
Had no spade, no heart.
Exactly right. No spade, no heart. Was the thought process I was about to begin.
This is the last hand. Do you guys want to do a bomb pot?
Yeah, let's do a bomb pot.
It looks like the last hand of the night. There will be a bomb pot. Ryan is the big winner tonight, winning over 2,700.
Yeah, do you just want
Killatran, if you're in a time game in this house, you can run it twice.
You guys down for a bomb pot?
Keep the cash.
Yeah.
Keep the cash.
A time no limit game.
Yeah. So $50 bomb.
Regulation.
Nice playing with you, sir. Nice meeting you. Nice playing with you. Nice meeting you.
Can we do a random draw for the button?
Sorry, guys. Sun run everyone.
We can do that. We can do the random.
Random draw on the button?
Yeah.
So it looks like 50 is the amount for the bomb pot?
Yeah, we should drop for the button.
Right at 450.
Or you gotta ask them if they're gonna hear you.
You guys want to do random button for the last pot too? I mean, obviously.
I don't care.
Okay, you don't. So.
They're gonna draw for the button here.
Drawing from the button, and then we're doing the bomb.
Then they're gonna do a bomb pot from there.
Queen the stage.
We got pocket fives.
The sun run continues.
Deuce is high or low?
Oh,
Deuce is high or low is the question from Dan Sparger. Well done, sir.
You drew it anyway? Oh, queen of spades?
You've been watching Bellagio Poker on the Strip. I'm your host, Dallas Scott. My co-host, John Harden. We'd like to thank Matt Lutterby and
Jason
Harry
Corvese,
Corvese,
Leslie Michaels,
all of our
Chrissy and
producers, Chrissy and Nate.
All the other poor suits in the room that
have to
get burdened with our antics all day.
So Ryan suggests drawing for the button, and he gets the button.
6-9 suited. Ace is suited. 5.
So we're going to go straight to a flop here of Jack 7.
I haven't looked yet, but if I had it.
we've got not a lot going on here.
We don't know what Delvecchio and Ryan have.
Might not have looked at their hands yet.
What did Andreas bet here? He bet, oh, he bet the 7 with a clean kicker. Ryan calls the 200. He has minimal, probably ace-7 here. Probably a jack.
What's up?
Killatran, it was 4-bet, it was raised and then 4-bet by Michael Macy on the button to $440.
It was a big 4-bet.
Listen.
Coin Chaser, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
It's not enough that he won all the chips.
Rich got richer.
Oh, Ryan got it. The ironic thing is, Ryan asked for the button. Andres was the button.
Actually, I did.
Ryan asked to draw for the button. He gets the button, and he beats Andres in the pot. Well, Andres would have the ace jack.
Did we get clear?
Again, thank you guys very much for watching Bellagio Poker on the Strip. We'll see you back on November 19th and 20th. I'm your host, Dal Scott. My co-host, Mr. John Harden. Again, thank you guys very much.
Good night.